so long I look. All lately, I've been looking in chats, trying to chase back up. I'm so lost in some situations. Like I don't know who people are. I'm so fucking lost. I'm so in the dark. Especially when it comes to flows. Channel apparently got taken down. I don't know. That's what it looks like. Like there being like new people coming to the community that I'm not familiar with. But I guess they were familiar with me. Free flood. All kind of that's pretty trippy stuff too. I think about like the pre-flood days and then like the post-flood days. Like biblical. It doesn't seem like it's like that. It's that bad. I can't really put it into words. But like in my opinion, I can't articulate it well enough to even come close to being able to show people the devastation. Even seeing videos and phone footage and stuff like that on YouTube from people that actually lived through it and from like people that have just come up to make a fucking video off of it. And like seeing the many different perspectives to devastation through one state. And it's like saying it super traumatic. And I'm being like so nice about it because it's super traumatic. Just completely understand it. But hey, I lived. And I still have my sanity. Surprisingly, I still have my sanity. Literally, but I still have it. It's just, it's all you can do. Take it one day at a time. It's going to be real long here soon. So I'll be able to get back out. I'll be able to get more footage. And to share with you guys. As well as just try to get in so many places that I haven't opportunities to and see what I can find. If I can even get there, there's still places that there's no access to because there's no way to access it. There's no like to watch out like completely. That seems like it's gonna be so that's what that's a lot of fun. Completely I haven't tried to catch up with you from freaking from that it's like to it's like to be it's like it used to be like this, so hopefully I'm getting back into the soul things when it comes to the Stephen, which is where he's at where I'm at on the globe, what do you want to call it? Okay, we'll get back in sync with dance is what I know. Because it really did not used to be like you're supposed to find each other anymore. Also, I noticed too that YouTube had a little bit to do with that. They changed my, like I had the notification set up all the way out. But checked it the other day and it was set back to like personalized, which was fucking bullshit. I fixed it. So now I'm good. So as soon as I got up, something was playing. I saw he was live. I clicked on it. He was just live this day. And I was like, what the fuck? Talking. He was like, rivers from I just build up points off of them, toss it out in their empty and just dump it in the hallway. That's like somehow they give me some angel pictures and shit like that. That's what I do. Like every single time I get ready to go off right here and then I go take a deep breath and walk away. That's gotta be building a relationship for us with God. It has to. It's got to. That's what I'm telling you. That followed by my consciousness going, if you do that, you're probably gonna go to jail, so don't do that. It's usually that and then followed by that. And I keep breath. Or maybe looking at a comment and talking out along because you wanted that. And then you're like, random post comment. It's not very checking in to see what everybody's been up to lately. Trying to keep up to date on my stuff. And I'm still kind of everybody's so far from care with some of the jobs because they're so start. So I have a storage channel over there itself as though that really didn't have that much of a times. As well, everybody has been able to go down to that. Seems to be pretty remarkable. But I said Sasquatch to me. I don't know if he's even brought it yet because this is the time that he's calling me to. And I asked him before I leave with you because I cannot find which is well. I must have it there. So I don't get it. So I have to get out and make it work. Because I'm stuck in public school and there's not in the city too. Just sit there sorting out mess of stuff. I'm like, it's just hard to describe it all time before said just Sasquatch. So I started footage with you. Which like I said, I was listening to his show for earlier this morning. It's kind of like they had like a fire. They had a situation with a fire or something going on or something like that. I couldn't forget it again. And I asked Sasquatch to forward it to them. So they didn't make a lot of process. They didn't like it. Now, like I said, I don't know if Sasquatch is yeah, or not. I don't know who he is. But he was able to forward that to me. If he sees this, and he can call it, he knows that. Depending on how long this takes to complete it. Because the boss I have to at least follow you right next to it. So it's did she go potty? Is it still bad or is it stopped? Stop it, still wet out there. But we need that. We need it to do like that, like it's doing right now. Not anymore really than that. And I don't want to say we needed to do that for like this. I mean, just we needed to do it definitely helped with the fires. It's definitely helped with the containment of the fires, especially when they came along and all that. So that's good. So if you're out there doing the rain dance, you did good. I still can't find that episode. I'm gonna have to sit here and literally go watch every episode of Barney Miller until I find that episode. You do? I want to find it because I'm gonna clip it so I can share it with my subs and stuff because it was crazy. It was good. It's episode of Barney Miller. I don't know if you've seen it, you've seen it because it's like an older sitcom from like, I think it's from the 80s. And it's based on concert in New York City because when it opens up, it shows like a skyline view of New York City. And you can see the Twin Towers back in the day. And they talk about the one episode I was watching yesterday. They're talking about the Twilight Revolution and how David Rockefeller started that in 1975. So I'm assuming that the show started somewhere in the 80s. They ran for quite a while, believe it or not. But surprisingly, I literally had never even heard of it until like maybe a year or two ago. But anyways, there was an episode I was watching the other day where there was this old man, he's a little bitty old white man, but he's wearing these like Native American necklaces and they have all this like turquoise bead and stuff in it. And they arrested him for one of the day accusing him of doing some kind of ritual. This is what got my attention. I was sitting there and I heard one ritual. I'm like, wait, what? Pause. And I'll start listening. Doing some ritual in the middle of the park. And they bring him in and he's talking to Officer Miller and explaining the situation and that he's actually got a contract with the city to be out in the park doing what he said is an ancestral rain dance because they had not had any rain apparently in a while and they were about to be in Florida. So they were trying to get them to conserve water until they can use be washing their cars, all that stuff. Stuff that's happened here in the past couple of years. But anyways, they raise the and it says a contract with the city for the ancient rain dance. And then later on in the episode, one of the other detectives comes back in with this information that he just recently discovered. And it's about cloud seeding. He says that. He's like, oh yeah, they do that all the time. And then he breaks down like the elements that they're using, or whatever the chemical elements that they're using in the cloud seeding. So it's like sodium iodide, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this. But if it's not sodium iodide, it's sodium iodide. It's similar, they're probably all like one element probably. And one other thing that it causes a reaction and then stirring it up, that is what causes rain. That's why it's called cloud seeding. And that was a horrible, horrible explanation. In no way should you take that with scientific certainty, but that is what it was explained in that episode. So the television sitcom from like the 80s talking about not only was one episode talking about Twilight Revolution, Rockefellers starting in a little bit off, but the other one was talking about cloud seeding and ancient rain dance rituals. Yeah, literal freaking. Which I already know a little bit about rain dancing and stuff like that aspect. But as far as like them actually doing that stuff back in the day with the cloud seeding and spraying and whatnot, I know they definitely didn't know that they were just openly talking about it like that on TV. Like it ain't no thing. Like that's nuts. Like really nuts. It's actually pretty funny sitcom, and like I said, it's actually pretty good. for like the what is it? People that external affairs. So they're doing their like yearly like what is it? Audit of the employees there, and one of the street officers lived right now. A couple of them for like being late and then making personal phone calls on more time and all that shit. And then that same street officer comes in later in the episode dressed as a woman, which I still do not fully understand why he had to be dressed as a woman later in the episode. But yeah, fully dressed as a woman. And uses the words transgender. So this was back before that was really even a thing that was heard of. And so that also I thought was kind of like, what? We'll keep pushing in there already here? I think so. Oh yeah, now Cameron died. I seen that last one too. I was going to it. Yeah, now Cameron had died. Which is kind of sad because he was only 65. That man, Tom Dillon, my personal favorite. He played Jim Morrison in the movie about the Doors. My personal favorite is his character in The Silent Sleep. That's one of my favorite favorites. And the character that he plays like the role he plays like it. Just not only him in that movie, but him and the characters playing alongside with the characters that were the character of Peter Sarsgaard and Vincent D'Onofrio and Plummer. I said, no, that movie also really understated, underpromoted, but really just awesome. The storyline, the plot, and everything about how that movie ends up the way he is being treated in that environment in the first instance is his absolute saxophone player. In reality, his husband killed himself. But I feared that I would kill all this class. Kids are somebody we could possibly have Sasquatch movies also come out and also come back and get everybody, excuse me, just to do also to do some testing with my microphone and my audio because I know that was also not happening. But I tried to interrupt it. I was trying to find it was correct. Yes. Even with my job outside, I'm thinking, yeah, we should do. Let's do that. That way everybody will get up and they'll say, oh, there's live. These fucking trucks and a damn taco company for now just tearing down trees across the street every day. For God only knows what. As if they need to be doing it out there too, because that goes down trees that do get back. At some point, you're right alongside the interstate and the riverbank. And it's just completely taking away from the purpose of the riverbank to begin with. Duh. Again, I digress. When it started, because it definitely has to do with Raytheon, who are huge, huge part Because yeah, the reality of their recent and watching, it's not people being together, it's just facts. Period. And if we want to live in a world in a right now, like blinders on when you tell yourself that they're not in the same watch at one time, well, again, good luck with that. Because they don't be like, especially when we're in the top six. And it sucks. It really sucks. Just need to go to the smart and really ready one time all this. See, that's what I was trying to do is fix that too. So I think I know how to fix that. It's already better. So I can go into like and sort this out. So I'll come back. Hopefully I'll come back to and we can really just the audio I've got it turned up as loud as I can hear. And like I said, I think it has to do with the specific mic that I'm using. So that's what I'm gonna do. Like I got a message at like 1 o'clock. You hear, oh, I bet you hear lots of things now. Is it better? I bet that is a lot better. It definitely has to do with the mic that's on those things. Okay. Now I'm cleaning out my ear. I sent you the link. Reggie had a fire this morning, so I don't know if they got that under control or what the hell is going on there. I hope everybody's okay there. You know what? These fucking trucks, they weren't that damn loud before I went live. I swear. That shit actually kind of is pissing me off. It's almost like they started getting louder just now on fucking purpose. It's not the language that really grinds my gears. Because my struggle is already real enough as it is. Without the Illuminati doing their stupid shit. Yeah, that's what I'm going with today. But today, it's the Illuminati's fault. We'll see whose fault it is tomorrow, but definitely the Illuminati's fault. Always their fault. They got their grubby little hands in everything. So why would they be? That's what makes logical sense to me, and it is me. So, you know, take that how you may. Oh, son. Is it better now? The sound should be better now. Maybe not like phenomenally better, but it should hopefully not sound like I'm underwater. So yeah, but if not, that's what I'm gonna do here shortly. I'm just gonna go and what is happening. There's what the end of the world? Yeah, pretty sure we're right in the thick of that. Did you bring the plastic men? Apparently, it sounded like I was underwater before. I literally, right when you showed up and we were discussing this, um, I just turned off the Bluetooth and I cranked up the volume as loud as possible on this end and pulled it in closer. Oh my goodness, I freaking love that movie. Such a good movie. Especially once Pooh Bear and that whole scene with the honey badger or whatever it is. What is that damn thing in the cage? It's a badger, if I remember correctly. Either way, it has extremely long fangs and claws on the end. Yeah. The chick is in between the mattress and the with the box frame. It's like smushed in there like a sandwich, screaming, and he's just beating on. Excuse me, my girl keeps stuck. Like, what? No, go to bed and put down the bug spray, sir. Please. And they're like, Bobby. He's like, who's Bobby? Who's Bobby? Bobby. Bobby rhymes with hobby. Bobby. It's like, so what do you guys need? If Bobby wasn't so out of his damn mind on the bug spray, he should have known what they were asking for was a little overzealous. But hey, you do what you gotta do in those situations. You don't wanna be like the chick in the middle of the mattress and the box spring. No, you wanna walk out that door, hopefully with your legs and arms intact, so and still breathing. And with Bobby, it's a 50-50 chance, and if you didn't bring those plastic men, you really might not be leaving. But they left. They were running. They were running. Oh my god, that shit is so freaking funny. He's just spraying himself down with bug spray. Like, yeah, boy. If you have not ever seen that movie, I would recommend it. It's super, it's super insightful, is what I'm gonna say. If you don't know anything about that and the stupid little weird jokes that people make about tweakers, that would be a movie that would definitely give you a better insight and context on that for sure. For sure. That and Spun. Spun, no, it's kind of like fucking out there. You got there's Bobby in Salt and Sea, and then you got to do Spider Mike in Spun, and that dude is played by John Leguizamo. So you can imagine. I don't know if you've ever seen that one or not. Talk over that, you guys. It's funny. It's not for the faint of heart either, though. Neither of them are, honestly. Both of them obviously deals with adult situations, so viewer discretion is advised for sure. When I was watching Richie's Live this morning, he was talking about he had this little tidbit in the middle of the live about podcasting, basically what he does sometimes in collaboration with people like the dude from Israel, Nir. I think his name is Nir. That's always pretty good stuff. Like to hear what's going on over there, from someone that's over there firsthand in the middle of it, in the thick of it. I'm pretty sure that's where he's. It's been, like I said, it's been a minute, so I'm still kind of rusty and coming back around, trying to figure out where everybody's at in space time and how everybody's doing. So that's kind of still wading through all of that. What day is it? It's Wednesday. Tomorrow is my parents' anniversary. So I'm gonna have to call them tomorrow and wish them happy anniversary. Anniversary. Anyway. Papa, I can't remember if you do. I know that you have the naughty corner, and I can't remember. I thought is that on Wednesdays or Thursdays with Chuck? But it's for some reason I feel like it's tonight. But that's what I need to do is go and get like a plug in again, like an audio input the one that you has to manually, not Bluetooth, but manually plug into the freaking phone so that it's better. So did y'all do one last night? I didn't think you did one last night though. Are y'all gonna do one tonight? Oh, nice. Was she hot? Well, I'd imagine if you were in bed with her, she's probably freaking hot. Damn it, that was such a dumb fucking question. Well, I'm glad I wasn't trying to get in touch with you desperately last night about any of this. That would have been an epic fail. I hope her kid is doing better. Is the 23-year-old still in your bed? 23. I'm. Oh, nice. 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 I have the biggest shit eating grin on my face now. I'm such a fucking disturbing individual. Because I was about to say, right as I read that comment, I was about to say, you know what? I have children that are that age, literally. And I read that comment and I was like, damn it. I'm so, I'm so uh, oh my goodness. Okay. So will you be available to do that tonight? I'm obviously I'm gonna watch. I just didn't know if you're doing it. So if you do the naughty corner tonight, and her kid is better, then what are you doing after the naughty corner? You're trying. Just give her the number. She's probably more close to her. No, because it's already going. It's already awkward. See what you younger generation are doing to us old folk. You're making shit awkward for us. That's right, because it's her thing that she doesn't. Okay, and then she'll let you know. Because I noticed I did know that y'all hadn't done one yet this week, so I was wondering what was up with that. And then I seen Flo, his lame ass, just did a restream of a stream he's already streamed. Gay. Like, like I am too. I'm like the epitome of that, but still, they don't see it that way. They think we're creepy, and it's I mean, call it whatever you want to. It's just the way it is. And it's not like they. I have been around some of these younger generation people. Some of y'all are creepy, and you know it. So just saying. And it ain't even y'all's fault. It's not even y'all's fault. That's kind of like our fault. But that wasn't our fault. That was our parents' fault. But we're working on that. So just bear with us, I guess. And don't destroy the planet in the process. That's all I can say. Yeah. Because I have actually no, I do want to do that though sometime because I have actual video presentation that I want to set up. 'Cause I have some really cool shit that I have recently learned. Where did you find her? Not fair. It's so hard to find chicks like that. That's why she had that look on her face. I probably would have had the same damn look on my face. And again, she's closer to probably her age. So she can look like that. She can have that look on her face. And the chick is probably that hot. Oh, you suck. Mm, I need to leave the house more. That's all. That is what I can conclude from this conversation is that I can't do anything if I don't ever leave the fucking house. And I only leave the house when I absolutely have to. Like when I've got to get some like coffee or cookies, or like tomorrow, for example, it's my parents' anniversary, so I'm going to wish them happy anniversary. I take my dog to the groomer as well. But other than that, I don't leave the house because because I don't end up having this kind of luck. I don't have awesome luck like that. My luck is shit. And all I ever find in a Hardee's drive through is a freaking bum asking for fucking change. So, and they usually have an animal with them, which is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. And they're bad up here for that. It's like, you are homeless. Why did you take up an animal? But it happens. I do understand sometimes just circumstances, especially like after the flood. That's just not even something that they could help. And that's happened to so many people around here. So I can't really say much about that now, especially from in retrospect. But yes, I'm going to. Yeah, you are. You suck. Just going to. What happened to Waffle House? Did Waffle House get boring to you or something? Go to well, I guess if that's what you're going to find at Hardee's, I go to Hardee's too. Shit. I'm about to tell my friend, we got to go to Hardee's next time, not freaking McDonald's. Never gonna find a chick like that in the damn McDonald's drive-thru. That much I do fucking know. Because there's like how many right here within freaking 2 or 3 miles of the house. There's one within walking distance of the house right here. So there's like one within a mile. And I think there's actually two within a mile here. Well, oh, at the Waffle House. Oh, so you can't just go and post up there no more, huh? So now you just go to the. How does Hardee's feel about that? Well, I guess they're okay with that. Then has one chick is there. Oh, well, congratulations. Is that your first? It's not your first grandkid, is it? No. Is it? It's your second. It's still, isn't that just awesome? That's so cool. Seriously. Babies coming into the world is always a blessing. That is, I am truly happy for you. That is so cool. Congratulations. Seriously. I like Ezekiel and Amos. I don't know about Horatio. Why Horatio? Really? Really, Papa? Horatio? I wonder what she is. I wonder. I'm curious to find out. But I do like Ezekiel and Amos. That's really cool because both my boys have biblical names too. Elijah and Noah. And bringing fishing pole. That's so freaking cool. So cool. Babies are always awesome. And it's a little boy. So a little baby squatch. Yay! Another squatchling. That's, that is so cool. Well, I hope everybody is happy and healthy and doing really good, especially mom. Horatio. Okay, well, excuse me. I'm just must not be entirely familiar with her ratio in the Bible. You'll have to explain. I'm sure you will too next time that like do you see did you like, break that down for me? Because an admiral, a moonshiner, Bible book, and character from sci-fi. Sci-fi what? Like a show? You're a busy person today. You've got you've got a lot going on. Indeed, Ezekiel. That's a cool name. It really is. That's a book in the Bible. Yes, and I don't think. I, yeah, I'm pretty sure Amos is too. It's like right before Obadiah. I'm gonna have to watch that or read it. And does anyone know what game that was in like Richie's thing this morning? There was like a little tidbit from a game or something. It looked like he was playing. Excuse me. I'm curious as to what game that was because the graphics on that thing were like freaking sick. When is Easter? Isn't Easter coming up soon too? I've got some. I've got. I know that. I sent you a link. The reason why I was sitting there doing this, I was like, does he not know he's got a link? He could just come in to the studio. Oh my goodness. Should tell me when you come in. I told you. But I didn't know if you had I didn't know if you had actually seen it or not. So that's why I went ahead and started. I should have turned my camera on so y'all could see my face just now. But I don't have any makeup on. Well, I take that back. I have minimal makeup on. And remember, my hair is a work in progress. And then sometimes when I'm editing, like and have to go back through my folders and find like my intro. I've come across videos of my hair when I had just bleached it. So it was like super, super blonde, and I didn't have any of these like horrible like roots that obviously need to be done. That also threw me for a loop. Not entirely sure if we've met before, but hi, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining or watching, tuning in. While I wait for Sasquatch to come in backstage, I'm going to heat a cup of coffee, and we'll continue to discuss whatever it is we were discussing. I don't know what's going on there. I do know I'm heating up this coffee. I'm trying to get the sun to come out. I almost been sitting Richie's like got a short, and I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I just seen like a full thumbnail for it, talking about face that he makes whenever someone asks him about the pyramid. So we're gonna have to talk about the pyramid. Just to touch base. All right. Still no Sasquatch coming in backstage. What is the deal here? No, I did. I didn't realize that I did. Do you not have the link to this? Hold on. Let's. let's turn that back. Should be that one. Okay. Is that right now? I don't know how it started a new StreamYard because the link doesn't. I don't freaking know, dude. I do not know. That's the honest country. But I sent you the one for like this one. Didn't I? Yeah. I'm blonde. Come on now. There he is. Hey. I'm so slow. I was like, what is he talking about? I started a new StreamYard. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Looking at it like, what is he making? Let me get that. I need that. That's my coffee. Babe. Oh my god. Well, I thought I was gonna get some milk to go with that, but I'm not. Hey. Oh, look at that. Why is it doing that? See, that's not cool. And I can't do things. Look at my camera too. Look at that. Why is it doing that? That's for one. We're turning that off till we can sort that out. Oh my God. Shush. I can't even run it. Okay, hold on. Oh my God. Okay. I don't know what the hell's going on. I have no freaking clue. I don't know why it's like that, and I've been trying to figure that out myself for like 2 or 3 weeks. Because I thought something was weird about like the videos that it says they're in the past, like in my archive or whatever. I was like, wait a minute, this is not the right StreamYard. I was like, and then I went and checked to see who like had access to it, and you weren't in there. And I was like, okay, something is not right here. This is the only one I could get into. Yeah,
I got like 6 of yours over there, right?
you do.
Yeah, hold on. I'll tell you how many I got. And I'll even name them for you so that maybe you can find them and do something about it.
That is awesome.
Oh, hold on. Let's see. Okay, I have a Caucasian Sasquatch. That's not me. That's you. I have an M's Mad World with an apostrophe, spaces, which is, I have M's Mad World with no apostrophe, no spaces, and then the distorted ones. And just for funsies, the M's Mad World with apostrophe and spaces currently says it's live, but there is nothing there. You are not there. It's not on YouTube, but it says it's doing it.
No, I've seen that one too, and I don't know how to get it down. I don't even know where it's at. Like, where is it existing at?
I can fix it right now, but is it going to do you any good if you don't know that it exists?
Right? Like, but how? I mean, oh, it's like a wormhole.
Yeah. All right. All right.
There's a
That thing.
black squirrel on the tree outside.
Stop being racist.
It's black.
That's why I said stop being racist. Let that squirrel be.
I've never seen one like that.
Is that kind of like one of those you people things?
No, that's kind of like I ain't never seen one of them things. It's like all the ones I see are usually like grayish brown, and some of them are even like a whitish color. They're kind of rare. They're rare, but I've seen them. It's real rainy up here too, and they're doing stuff with trees across the street. So like, there's been an abundance of like wildlife in the backyard here. There was a couple of deer back there last night. I'm scared the crap out of them too. Just fucking with them on purpose. Because I guess I didn't have anything better to do. Yeah.
All right. Now,
That's working. That's fucking awesome.
my question is, how do I kick all these other variations of your channel out?
I don't know. I don't know if you'll be able to do that.
I have to be. That has to be a thing, right? Like
It should be. It's definitely what I keep. I'm like, no, that's the whole reason why I gave him access. He's got to be able to figure this out because I don't know what I'm doing. Every time I do that, I go, no, Emma, that is why you gave him keys to that so that he could sort this out because he knows what he's doing. You don't. And here we are. Because Aaron was asking for the link too, and I was like, well, I don't know which one I'm going to put up, and I don't know if that's going to work, and I don't know. And I feel like I've talked to him before. I feel like this is something I should definitely have more memory of than what I do right now. I don't know if it's because I ain't been up that long or what.
all right, I kept one of them, but I'm gonna let you try to figure out which one it is.
Okay.
That's evil. I know. I'll
That
enjoy
I
it.
was gonna say I cannot believe
Uh,
as if my brain is already fucking up.
yeah, no, I have been very busy the past couple of weeks. It is true.
Mhm. I've seen that. That's the reason why I was like, I've got to figure out how I've got to get space time in there in like a little window. But you are busy a lot.
It's not even all that busy on YouTube, although that's true too.
Yeah. No, it's just you're more. You got a variety of stuff that you do too, besides your own thing.
That's true.
You do with other people, and
Yeah.
you do with several other creators on YouTube. So yeah,
That mess apparently messes up people. They don't know how to deal with that. They don't realize when I say I'm a producer, they go to my channel and try to find stuff that I've done. I'm like, that's not where it's at. I phone all of that stuff in, man. I do my actual work on other people's channels. I got one you'll like. I did recently.
Oh, yeah.
You might have come across it. I can't remember. I was really busy that day, but Scully, was it Scully Pop now? Scully.
I've
It was
probably seen
Scully
it.
South Stars. He's changed the name of his channel.
Yeah, I noticed that. I did notice that he changed the name of his channel.
Well,
And
he
so
did.
I might have seen what you've done with him because I get notifications and he doesn't upload or go live as much as he used to.
Yeah.
But when he does, like I still get notifications for it. I had to go back and fix mine for Richie's. I don't know if it's because YouTube don't like him. Period. Richie. YouTube just does not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Richie.
yeah. Well, no, Richie keeps doing the things YouTube doesn't like.
Yeah.
That's what that is. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean they really stick to his ass. Like they don't let him fly in again under the radar. It's like as soon as he comes back, they're like, hey, Richie's back home. Let's go over there and fucking troll his ass. Damn it, man. Is it that necessary?
I don't know. But anyway, what I did with Scully, he wrote a script for Sherlock Holmes meets James Bond and Save the World.
Yeah.
And the second I found out he was doing Sherlock Holmes and James Bond, I hit him on every single messaging app, email, and everything. His home phone rang. I was like, dude, I want it on that. He's like, oh, I was
Yeah.
just trying to find somebody to do some work with me. And I was like, me, I'm the guy. I'm the dude.
He's like, oh, okay. Duh. Like, yeah, when I say I understand that. I understand that that's why you're busy all the time. So like and that your one channel is just a small portion of all the other stuff that you do.
Yeah.
And for someone to, if they to troll you is going to be nonsensical and just utterly
I've had a
maddening.
few try.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it's going to drive it's going to drive most people batshit crazy pretty
In
quick.
fact, I had. Are you familiar with Mike Cerrone? What's
The
up?
name sounds familiar, but not right off the top.
Good. So he popped up on the Raging Tomatoes the other night while I was there, and it turned into an absolute laugh fest at his expense. It was a beautiful thing. And I didn't do it on purpose. He did it himself. I just answered all the questions.
I think I seen part of that. I think I did. I think I was just in the chat and watching it because, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I've seen that. Because I've only seen the Raging Tomato like maybe a handful of times.
I need you to do me a favor, sweetie. Can you do it?
Yeah.
I need you to go to your settings, turn off your echo cancellation, count to 5, and turn it back on.
Like literally count to 5 and turn it back on?
Yeah, like turn off the echo cancellation so the little check is gone, and then wait a few seconds, and then turn it back on. Don't just double tap it.
Okay.
Much better. Thank you. That was the whole reason I was trying.
How does it sound now?
It sounds great. The issue was that sometimes
I can't hear you.
Why can't you? No, you can hear me. Come on now.
I can't hear you.
You got gremlins. You got gremlins.
Hold on, what the fuck is going on here? This is fucking weird. Okay.
All right, fucking.
Well, I just fixed the mic or part of it anyways. But why can't I hear you?
Hold on.
What the fuck happened? Wait a minute. Hit refresh and then rejoin. It's telling me to reload. Stop. Is that okay? Okay, I'm gonna hit reload. Here we go.
Yeah. All right. Now we got a chance, folks. Maybe it'll happen. Oh, well. Yeah. Hell, this is a perfect. Maybe this is the first perfect time for me to work on my sound. How do I sound? Let's see.
How's my sound?
Oh, good. You're back. Keep speaking.
How's my sound now?
It's all right.
What the?
It's good. It's good.
No, yeah. Now it should be.
Yeah. But can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. A minute ago, there was no audio. Like it wasn't even like an echo sound.
Well, here's the thing. For some reason, and I don't know, maybe it has to do with how loud your phone's turned up. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Your echo cancellation is clipping out when you're talking, and so it kind of has that weird sound when you talk. We can understand you. We can hear you. It's not enjoyable, but we can understand you and hear you.
Is it still doing that?
Yep.
Fucking shit.
It stopped after the echo cancellation thing, but then you couldn't hear us. So I'm not sure this. But you maybe turn your phone down a couple of clicks, because what it's trying to do is filter out me talking, and sometimes you talking. It's trying to separate our sounds. And if your phone's loud enough to feedback, there you go. Can you hear me?
That's what it is. It's got to be that. I think it's a combination of two different things.
Sure. But
with the audio.
Can you hear me now? No, you can't hear me. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is really
How about
good.
now?
But you can't hear me. We'll start singing songs.
Actually,
No.
I can come back in.
Yeah, I know. When it sounds good, she can't hear me, but and it would be fine if I wasn't up here, right? Like if she just did what she did a minute ago and then went on with what she was doing, she'd be fine. But because I'm here and she can't hear me, it's gonna freak her out. See?
No, I left and came back because I wanted to see if what I just did would fix the sound. And it's better?
It seems to be better for the moment.
Yes.
We'll see.
Okay. What I did was I went in and I put it on, it was set to default. So I have, and right now on this phone, it says there's a default headphone and then speakerphone. So I set it on speakerphone mode, and then I went out and then came back in. That's what I did this time. So it should have fixed it.
Cool. All right. So how you been? What's been shaking? What's been?
I'm glad it's working. I'm glad we sorted that out. That only took like almost an act of Congress.
No, man. Well, to take an act of Congress as a third term for Trump or Obama, that'll definitely take an act of Congress.
don't know how to feel about Trump still. Like, for one, I'm shocked that because I'm not a part of that, which got that man elected again. I don't understand. I don't, but I don't vote, so that's why I don't really do the politics thing, because I can't really speak on that but only from a very weird perspective. I just don't agree with politics. I don't.
You sound like one of those people who don't believe in guns. Because
No,
no,
no.
let me finish the joke. It doesn't matter whether you believe in politics. Politics believes in you.
What does that even mean?
I had a conversation the other day about you, and I didn't name any names, but he was talking about how, oh, well, you don't need to have a driver's license. I said, that is true. In fact, if you don't have a driver's license, it completely screws up the entire court system. Like, I was like, yeah, if you get picked up for driving without a license, they will attach it to your ID. But if you get picked up having never ever had a license, they can't charge you because they don't know how.
Exactly.
I had to think that shit through for a while to realize. And I'm like, wait a second. There's a certain amount of genius on that, but it's no good for the rest of your life. Like, you can't do anything else legally. So,
I know.
boy, I'm glad you got a green card. Your ass would be screwed, son.
Damn, that does suck. That sucks. That would suck. That would suck.
Well,
But I mean,
Fatty, Uncle Fatty, first of all, I'm not going to take shots at you unless you take shots at me. All right, like you have a free pass until you decide to get your boxy up and come at me again. We're good. I'm not going to be breaking out any of the clips I got and throwing them in your face because I'm not quite that asshole. Close, real close. I am a savage, but I'm not going to throw those things down unless you come straight at me, and then I'll just drop it. No hate, no harm, no foul. Beyond that, executive orders have been all the rage for the past 30 years. They have created 90% of the problems we have in our governmental institutions today. They have created parallel government structures to such an extent that we can't even keep track of the money we send to government, much less where they spend it. And when we do try to keep track of where they spend it, they've wrapped it up in so much red tape that we can't even get a FOIA request on any given batch of money. And so I'm of the opinion that if executive orders are what it takes to streamline the government to some extent, where we can actually keep track of what they're spending, okay, most of these products and most of these projects and bureaucracies were established through executive order, and there's nothing stopping a president from disestablishmentarianism by executive order,
which is basically what we're in the thick of right now, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I'll use let's see, one good example: the EPA. Right, the EPA was created through executive order. It was verified through some act of Congress that went down that actually kind of reduced the things that the EPA could do. This does not mean it has any further legal standing just because the Congress agreed to it.
Yeah.
All this means is that Congress has agreed not to revoke that executive order, not to veto it, not to vote against it. They've just agreed to let it go. Right.
Yeah.
Everybody agrees that to some extent an EPA is necessary. We do need
Absolutely.
protection.
Absolutely.
There it is. The problem occurs when the EPA goes and makes sub-departments that make sub-departments that make sub-departments that make sub-departments.
Mhm.
Sub-departments all do essentially the same thing on a different topic, in a different place, on a different level, with different people, and they all believe they are the EPA. And so when funding questions comes up, all of these sub departments have to have their funding, but they don't get their funding from the EPA department. They get their funding from Congress. And so Congress has no idea what they're funding, right?
They're just funding it.
Yeah, they just rubber stamp all that stuff through because, we all agree that we need an EPA. Same thing happened to Department of Education. The same thing happened to Homeland Security. The same thing happened to all these other official channels have been duplicated to the point of impoverishing a nation. And this, I haven't even touched the USAID thing. Like, that's not even on the docket of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about legitimate duplication and multiple duplication of the same job being made over and over and over and over and over again so that they can call for more funding, right? Because if you don't spend your funding, you don't get to ask for more next year.
Exactly, because you got leftover. They feel like you don't know what you're doing if you've got change, basically.
Yeah, which is absurd. On any other job sector, if you came in under budget, you'd catch a bonus. Instead, these people catch a bonus for going over budget. And so every single department in the US government goes over budget every single year on purpose.
Yeah, so the change actually ends up going into those little sub departments like you were talking about and funds those. And then that perpetuates itself.
All right. So another really good example of this stuff. And all right, on some things I can understand how this would happen. On other things, it's obviously just a money laundering scam. Let's take the New York Times. The New York Times, the federal government had something like 73,000 subscriptions to the New York Times. Does that seem normal?
That's crazy.
It sounds crazy, but it's actually not, because there are 17 or 70,000 locations where you might want to have a New York Times delivered to.
Okay. Yeah.
Need a subscription. And so there might be a whole bunch of New York Times subscriptions out there.
Yeah.
Is an online rag, and you don't need 170,000 subscriptions to it. You just need one because it's online and you can just access it through the government entity portal. Think about it.
Yeah.
If not a physical paper showing up at your door, you don't need 10,000 subscriptions for it. You just need one, because either, and this is something the judiciary needs to clear up, either the EPA is an entity or the federal government is an entity. They can't all be individual entities.
Right.
Legally
like the Federal Trade Commission.
Right.
I got a subscription for them. I get notifications for everything that they fucking put out. Everything. It's insane. That's what junks up my shit a lot in my inbox, between them and the Department of, oh my God, or the Library of Congress, because I'm also subscribed to the Library of Congress. Oh, and the Patent Pending Office. Yeah. And people are like, why? You would be surprised what you find out through that.
I was gonna ask why, but you kept talking, and I started kind of figuring it out without asking.
Yeah, you would be surprised what you find out through those three things. It's like it was, and I don't know what possessed me to initially subscribe to. One of them was the start of the other ones, and then through that, I was like, wait, I'm gonna need that, and then click, and then I need that, and that's been going on like that for probably like, I don't know, probably like 5 or 6 years now that I've been subscribed to them like that. And I get a lot of information through them, through those channels. It's crazy, especially the Library of Congress. That's really insane.
That place has everything.
Yeah.
I actually got upset back when I don't remember what year it was. It was late 90s, early 2000s. The Library of Congress kept a collated file on all studies, surveys, anything associated with American learning institutions were duplicated in the Library of Congress like 2 years later or something. So you can't get like the cutting edge papers, but you can get the ones that have been digested into like the books, right? And so you could just go to the Library of Congress site, go to the condensed papers sites, part of it, and then choose what paper you want to check out. Go through and check everything out. The actual production paper, like not an abbreviated copy, not a ginned up copy, nothing like that. Now all of that stuff's behind a paywall, as far as I've been able to figure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
But that's
like
library.
yeah, one
That is literally supposed to be a public resource by which they keep all of the writings of the president safe and available for public consumption. It's not meant to make money.
right.
So why is it behind a paywall?
It shouldn't. I was going to say it shouldn't be behind one.
Right. So that tells me that there are things being done behind the curtain they don't want us to see, because they will only allow you to see it if you make enough money to pay their fees to come in and look at it. And I guarantee you, once you get in there, there are subdivided sections in there that you'd have to probably pay more for. I'll be right back. I got somebody at the door.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably set up like that, like you said, like a tier system thing where once you get in there, if you want access to this or that department, this, that, and the other, or access to these certain type of documents, then you're going to have to pay more for that, which is, like he was saying, it's bullshit because it's supposed to be public access. That is why I'm subscribed to, like I was saying, the Library of Congress and the Federal Trade Commission too. I'm also subscribed to them, which I know is like, that's super weird. I know, but like I said, I get notifications for some of the most interesting stuff you'd think of, especially when it has to do with the government and like think about all these companies that want to do stuff on the land. If, like, for example, one of my biggest pet peeves here recently, the last couple of years, has been with this fucking Raytheon shit, and the $1 bill thing. I was about to go into that, Uncle Fatty, and don't get me started on Doge, because now they want access to the payroll of millions of Americans, which is just all the way fucked up. And I'm not even going to go down a rabbit hole, but they want to do stuff on the land. For example, like Duke, they want they filed with the city for a certain kind of permit that they have to have in order for them to. And this is literally how it's worded in the article that I read, so that they can have access to dump in the river, dump stuff into the river. And that right there pisses me slap the fuck off. It's not like it's where we get our drinking water from. I'm pretty sure it contributes to it. It's a source that definitely probably contributes to the drinking water that's in this town. But regardless, it is affecting the wildlife and the natural habitat and landscape of the surrounding environment. And this is why I can't fucking stand these damn nuclear plants that do shit like that and then try to lie about what it is that they're doing or how they're disposing of the waste and the byproduct of the nuclear process. It's fucking frustrating. Super frustrating, especially when you can visibly see the effects that it's having on the land and the wildlife and the animals and stuff, the plant life and all that around you. It's, yeah, very, very frustrating. Oh, I know, because just the other day that conversation come up, Fatty, where somebody was bitching about, well, we're supposed to be getting this money back, and if all this stuff's been shut down, how come we're not getting the money back? I'm like, do you know how long they've been in office? Literally, we barely in the 4th month, and we just barely been able to get our foot in the door to look at some of this stuff. So I don't know how the fuck y'all think that shit just gonna happen overnight. That's literally not how it works. And I don't know why they would think that. Yes. Definitely factor into that. Under the radar is for sure. And that's another thing that makes me mad. Because so they had already been like turned away for how they went to get the land. For example, Raytheon and how they got the land that they have purchased and set up shop on here in Asheville. They'd already been turned away when they went through going about obtaining land through legitimate means because Asheville didn't fucking want them here. We flat out did not want them here because people around here are not dumb. And we did our research and we found out what the fuck they did and what they were about. And we were like, we don't want no part of that. No, thank you. Well, they went around our, around what we said, went allegedly through the Biltmore family, who then donated land to them. And they purchased it for like $1 or something like that. There was some weird little like underhanded cockamamie scheme that involved them purchasing the land for like $1. How's that went with Raytheon and land in the Biltmore? Because Asheville didn't want them here. Yeah. There was people that like protested and everything. Okay. And they went behind our backs and did that. So apparently he has got to go. That's why he did that, I'm pretty sure. Because he has somebody at his door. But they went behind the people of Asheville's backs and purchased land anyways and then set up shop. And now there's a whole freaking, I can't remember how many, I think it's over 1 million square feet building that they went so and where the piece of land is too is real strategic where they put it so you can't see it anywhere from the main part of the road or anything like that. Hold on, why did it do that? I'm gonna get out of there. And
hey, wait a second. I thought we were talking about me. When did the show change?
we were talking about whatever it was when you left. No, but they went and got the land from like under our noses, and now they're set up shop there. So there's not a whole lot we can do. But where it's at, you can't see it anywhere visibly from the road, and you go across the river. So they literally built a fucking bridge across the river to get to this piece of land where Raytheon set up. So when you get across that bridge, you have to go through some gated access checkpoint to get there. If you're an employee there, you have to. You probably, but that's bullshit. That is bullshit. The infrastructure, putting the bridge, all the shit that they had to do to the land to put the bridge there across the street. Oh my God, it's maddening. It really is.
Is that what happened?
Well, now we're forced to be fucking poisoned by that company. And they're not even hiring locals to work there, which was supposed to be part of the fucking deal. Yeah. Not that I give a shit. I don't care if they got enough employees there or not. Fuck them.
Yeah. I mean, I know you got a bee in your bonnet about those people. Personally, I think if I was you, I'd fucking move. Like, if it bothered me that much, fuck that mountain. There are other mountains. We can go to different fucking mountains. We do not have to sit and stare at this shit and brood on it. But I have a suspicion, and I say this with the deepest of love. If you went to a different mountain, you'd find someone else to brood on. It'd still be the Park Service.
It probably still has something to do with the water, because I just don't like how I just hate it. because I know it's the industrial complex. I know it has to do with that. So every time I see some freaking giant dump truck or some big ass backhoe coming in to dig up the land and cause more fucking bullshit to be moved in, it angers me. Because that's part of the problem. The commercialism. Ugh.
So are you a communist?
I don't know. I don't know, man. That also come to my mind the other day. That thought, I was like, wait a minute. Do you hear yourself right now? That kind of sounds like that.
That's
So now I just have to say,
what
yeah.
yeah.
But I don't agree with that either. Because that's like the dictatorship. There you go with the uranium mines. That's a huge thing too that pisses me off. The uranium poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the coal ash stuff. That crap. Because they still ain't even cleaned that up. And then they pretty much just started like they got it like it's a hybrid type situation over there at the plant that's right here in town, the Duke plant that's here, because it is one of those Superfund sites. But then they're still using it and still operating it through some sort of hybridized like fusion thing. And that's not what it is. It's like, no, they're just saying that and they're low key still operating it in the same way they always have been. And they just don't want people to know it. That's why they're going through all the effort of putting this whole fucking business park in front of the skyline in which you're able to view that plant from the other side of the lake. You're not going to be able to do that here soon because there's a whole fucking business park they put in front of it. Like, oh, no, that's not obvious as fuck. What the crap? And now, if they're going to shut down, are they trying to shut down the EPA? Is that what's happening, or just like the sub departments?
Okay, so there's no distinction there on the backside of it. For one thing, whether it's the EPA or a sub development of the EPA, it's still the EPA. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So most of these departments, not all, there's a few exceptions to this. Most of these departments were created through executive order. And for the most part, after the executive order, they've been, the presidency has largely been hands off on their operation, interpretation, and the use of force to enforce the laws. But it was intriguing to see through the first Trump, well, the tail end of the Obama administration, when they threw all of the shackles off of the whole thing. It was so much was released as far as interpretation of laws, interpretation of enforcement, that all sorts of weird things started happening by way of Chevron deference. So the EPA could look at the writing in a particular law that Congress had passed, and if it named something called, say, just hypothetically, I can't remember the actual word that came under contention, but let's just say they say something along the lines of you can't build within 500 feet of tertiary waters, right?
Right.
They might reinterpret the concept of tertiary to also include some ephemeral waters. Okay, so an ephemeral water would be something that only exists during and after a major rain and eventually dries out and becomes normal ground. That is an ephemeral stream or an ephemeral pond, right? On the other hand, there is virtually no language in the EPA associated with these ephemeral water bodies, but the EPA changed the interpretation of the term tertiary to include ephemeral, and by such became able to dictate building within 500 feet of anything that got wet ever.
Huh.
Think about it. If it has to rain for this to fill up enough to run.
Right.
And if it rains enough to wet your shoes, they were claiming it's a tertiary water, and it doesn't necessarily have to be navigable. It just has to match the descriptions of tertiary, except that it doesn't have to be there all the time. A tertiary water is a permanent water course of some sort. It's
Right, like a pond or a lake or something like that.
it might
Like
rise
not
and fall, but it never goes away.
right.
Okay, so
It's
in the with Chevron deference in place, the EPA was able to do all of this. There is no recourse. There's no way to redress these interpretation changes. So someone who had built a shop in a corner of a field that occasionally fills with water or runs off might have been hit with some type of a fine and told you have to tear your shop down.
oh damn. That's fucked
Dead
up.
serious. So there was a couple of different cases headed to the Supreme Court to deal with Chevron deference. I can't remember which ones that actually made it to the Supreme Court, but one of them made it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court took a look at it and was basically like, absolutely not. That is absurd. And it came down in one case to a situation exactly like I said, where 8 years ago or so, a guy built a shop, and a corner of the shop occupies a space that used to flood when it was raining. He brings in a bunch of gravel, builds up the floor, puts in foundations, does the whole thing. So now he's got a pond next to his shop every 6 or 8 weeks when it rains good enough. It just pops up and runs off eventually. No big deal. It doesn't bother him. It's
Right.
actually on someone else's property too, right?
Oh, so it's a
Only
shared thing.
Yeah, so only a little bit of this water ever actually gets on his property at all, and nothing runs across his property because the exit is on the other side of his neighbor's property.
Uh-huh.
So he can't control whether that water gets that high or not at all. That's a mother nature kind of thing. And he needed a place to put his shop. He built his shop, and then 5-6 years later, the EPA comes through and it's like, whoa, that's way too close to an ephemeral water. You can't build that there. And it's like, well, I got all the permits that even the EPA permitted it 5 years ago.
Right. See, that's
They're like,
fucking
that doesn't apply anymore. You can't use any of that. And because at the time he had some storm damage that had taken place, he was trying to do repairs. They nixed the repairs because the EPA can do that, and then put it basically in a legal limbo where he was not actually charged with anything, but also no one would issue permits for him. And that stuck for years. Like he went and bought some scrap tin and patched up the holes that was in the building, and they fined him for it, saying that he was doing unpermitted repairs on a building that was already built in violation, too close to an ephemeral stream. And none of this is actually in a law book anywhere. This was all through raw interpretation, reinterpretation of the litigious laws. Yeah.
legal jargon of it. Yeah. That's fucked up.
Concept of a tertiary versus ephemeral waterway. That being said, once it was Chevron deference got overturned, the rest of this stuff, what's up, sweetest? So once Chevron deference was overturned, all of these departments being downsized was inevitable. If it wasn't Trump doing it, it would have been done by the next Democratic president. They would have had to, because it's become burdensome, not to the people, to the inaction of the federal government itself. Consider the Spider-Man meme. What was the name of that? Project Fast and Furious, I think. Do you remember that one?
It just sounds funny right out the gate. It's like, oh my God.
It sounds like some bullshit movie plot. Well, let me tell you what happened as far as I can remember currently. So Homeland Security, the ATF, the DEA, the FBI, NSA, and a couple of other governmental entities all came up with a plan. Here's the plan. We are going to document the numbers on firearms. And then they were going to sell those firearms to cartel members, and then be able to track the cartel members down through the purchased firearms and find out who it is that's purchasing firearms from Mexico.
Oh
What
my God.
actually happening is the federal government sold a bunch of firearms to cartel members
To
in
the
Mexico, and then stood around staring at each other, blaming each other for having done it when they actually had
oh,
a freaking meeting to plan this damn thing,
oh my
right?
god.
I don't know what the actual gotcha moment was supposed to be. You you can't track guns in the US. What the hell made you think you could track them when they left the US? I don't
I
understand.
know. But the fact that it's like, how is that in any way going to be beneficial to the government? Let's
I
just
will
sell
yeah,
them fucking weapons. The
I will
cartel.
I might have some small detail of that off, like, it I don't know exactly what, but that was the essential plot. You could make a movie and it would look absurd because no one would believe it. I now have to walk my puppy.
Yeah. Okay. You do that. I think I gotta go check on one. She's upstairs and wandering around. But I will wait for him to come back while we ponder on all of the things that we've just discussed, which are obviously these are things you can go and fact check. Also, and I just remember too the NSA. All of these government departments, you can sign up to get email notifications from every time they release or update anything at all. And the Library of Congress actually issues I can't remember what it is. I was actually trying to find it just a second ago while we were talking. Um, that I had initially signed up for, and that's why I get emails from the Library of Congress that talks about all kinds of stuff. And it's like this day in history thing, kind of, is what it is. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, naturally, we that's a given. That's it. You would expect them to be coming back in here after they went over the border, because they went over the border with drugs that they acquired here in the States, and they were taking them back across. But it's a back and forth thing. That's the reason why I don't understand. I do not even understand why Trump or any president for that matter, when we know that the presidents, especially in the United States, have a history of drug abuse. That being said, I do not understand for the life of me why, as soon as they get in office, they want to be like cartel this and cartel that. I'm like, so then where are you getting your drugs, sir? And don't holler out the damn pharmacy, because we all know that's a fucking lie. So just simmer down there, okay, Grandpa? Chill. But I digress. I do know that that's something that has been brought up. Like, what if Trump just tries to like put in an executive order where he's the president from here on out? I'm like, then be a dictator, like that kind of thing, and all that shit. Uh, it's a possibility. Do I really think that that's actually gonna freaking happen? No, I'd be scared to death. Like, I don't even have a passport, so it's like, how can I get out of the country? Because in no way, absolutely not. No, no way. I would not. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I couldn't even. I could still. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that the man was in office the first fucking time. It's like, nope, we done did that, been past that, moved on, had Grandpa Joe in there for another 4 years, and now we got him in office again. Like, whoa, whoa, Nelly. I don't know if I want to go up on that land. It looks a little unstable, if you know what I mean. I'd rather just go Little House on the Prairie, this motherfucker, some way somewhere else where there ain't no dam. nonsense like that. Oh, I know. That's the whole reason why we did that. We had to have a reason to, invade. You know what I mean? We were just checking for the weapons of mass destruction and whatnot. Don't mind us. Bunch of bullshit. Further psychologically damaging the fucking American population and the American people, especially the ones that seen it, lived it, went through it. Families have family members that, just. And then that too, that thing right there, that conspiracy can cause some serious arguments with people. I've seen it happen. I have seen it happen. It's like people want to say it didn't even happen. I'm like, okay, so that is not true. It definitely happened. Was it an inside job? That's the thing that usually gets debated the most. Well, duh. That's what that's what I keep screaming out. Aside from the fact that we have one of them right in our face all the time, up beside our head all the time, staring at one all day, every day. But whatever. What do we know, bro? So we're just stupid Americans that are all jacked up on caffeine and sugar and tobacco, sort of. These days, I don't know. I don't know if I know who that is. I mean, honestly, I used to drink Mountain Dew when I was younger, but I used to get like major kidney infections from that shit. So I had to stop with Dew. And then now I just drink Pepsi or coffee, and neither one of those are good for you either, honestly. It's all bad.
Hey, who drew this dick on my face? I wasn't drunk.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's no, sir.
No, sir. Is that the one that drew the dick on your face? Well, that'll teach you to fall asleep around people with permanent markers again, huh?
I wasn't asleep. I don't know how this happened. Let me do the thing so you can see what I'm dealing with here. That's what I'm dealing with. He has a penis on his face.
With a face, though. Oh.
So this one right here, he eats toilet paper rolls.
Look at you. Oh my god, I bet that's a nightmare. Why?
He pulls zippers apart when he finds them.
Bless it.
He so like the zipper on your pillow,
Uh,
your pillow.
yeah.
Pull the tab off the zipper or break the zipper trying to get the little pull tab out.
He just don't like those tabs. He don't like a tab. That's what he said.
It's something he can get his little toofies onto, and he just chews on them until he either chews them off or breaks them off.
There's my baby. Oh, there's my little baby. Come here. It's like she's like, oh, was somebody having a dog conversation? My little baby. She's got something going on with her mouth right now. I have to take her tomorrow and get it looked at. She can, but she's feeling better. I still want him to look at it. Hold on, I'll show you what I'm dealing with right now because she come in here and got in my face.
My old fogey dog that I got is 129 pounds and terrified of cameras. That's why you don't see pictures of him, because if you point something, he fruits up. He's also terrified of afros. I learned that the other day. Like I had Yeah. He has problems with glasses. He doesn't like that. He's about half blind.
I was about to put mine back on. I was about to put mine back on. Yeah, my glasses.
The chick that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
This is it's hilarious. It's such a terrible meet cute. Listen to this. So about 2 years ago, I mean, a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. I went to Hardee's one morning when I was pulled up to get my food. This young black chick leans out and says, "I'm getting my hair did today. Roast my hair." And you know me, with zero thought, there's a lot of cold horses running down the beach this morning for you to have that wig. I wonder exactly how many Asian women had shaved their head for you to pull that shit off. Is there any chance of getting their refund on all of their freaking hair since you're going to be getting rid of it? How about we do something original and natural? Maybe go with an afro, yada, yada. I'm talking a solid 3.5 minute bit. I just unloaded on her. And her friend that was working with her at the place started laughing and called everyone else over, and they abandoned their stations to come listen to this spiel, right? And she stood there the whole time like this.
I would have to.
When I got done, I said, "I'm very sorry, ma'am, but you did ask for that." She says, "I did, and you did very well." Thank you. She gave me my food. I left. Think nothing about it. I kind of avoided Hardee's for a couple of weeks, figuring somebody might spit in something if I messed with it. And so I just didn't go there. And when they started doing the bacon maple super biscuit things, my wife started requesting those for breakfast. And I was like, okay. So, I was going to Hardee's. I ran across her a dozen times. She never said a freaking word. Last week, I'm sitting outside the Subway waiting for everybody to send me their order so I can go in and get the freaking supper, and somebody comes banging on the window of my Sasquatch response vehicle, right? Bam, 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 like totally. I jumped out of my damn skin, rolled down my window, and was like, "What?" And she's like, "Do you got a pen?" Like, "No, ma'am, I don't have a pen." She's like, "You're fucking useless," and walked away. I shrugged, rolled the window back up, and told my wife what had just happened, and laughed about it. It was all a big funny, right? And she was like, "Well, are you going to hit on her?" I was like, "Well, if you'll give me permission to hit on her, I might," knowing there's not a shot in freaking Hades because I'm useless, right? Like, just useless. And she's like, "All right, well, maybe you should go shoot your shot." I said, "Fine, then I will. Send me your fucking order so I can go in and shoot my shot." Bam, 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 bam. I like jumped out the damn seat again, had a minor heart attack, was like, "Jesus Christ, what?" She's like, "This is my number. Give me your phone." And she just took my phone, and I was sitting there looking at her number, very confused with this entire thing happening to me. And I was like, "Okay." She's like, "White people always put themselves in their phone." And she goes into my and finds me. And took my number down, gave it back to me.
I love this chick already. What people always put themselves in a phone. Oh my God.
So when I get home, I come in, I set the food down, I come in and I sit down and take my phone out. I'm scrolling through something on YouTube. My wife, she's been waiting for me to say something. She's like, always, I'm gonna say something unless I'm hiding something. I'm gonna say something, right? So she's sitting there looking at me. She pauses her game, which never happens. And she's like, "So?" And I pulled out her number and handed it to her. Went back to what I was doing. She's like, You're bullshitting me. I'm like, "Actually, I'm not. But it didn't go down the way you think."
No, it did not.
Like, what? It's let's just say I don't think I have control of this situation.
No, you don't.
She's like,
No.
"What do you mean?" And so I told her what went down, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's good." She's like, "I can't wait to see how this plays out." So imagine my surprise when, like, last Wednesday, she's like, "Oh, I'm going to be out of town for a week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you do it, don't name it after me." And I was like, "I absolutely fucking am. I need me a little black baby named Inez. That's what I need. I got to have one of them." And she had her good old guffaw laugh at it, because there's no way any of this is ever going to happen, right? The 23-year-old girl, she's going to have a boyfriend, a husband, 16 guys running along behind her. No. She calls me up, asks me if I'm busy. I happen to not be busy. She's like, "Well, I got a babysitter for the next 4 hours." And I was like, "Okay." And so I go pick her up, and she looks at me. She goes, "Now, we're not going to have sex today." I said, "Okay.
Sure.
I just want to watch a couple of movies. Maybe."
Yeah.
Okay. So in her head, apparently, she had decided that she was going to feed me, liquor me up, and whatever happens, happens, or whatever, right? What actually took place is, after discussing food, I mentioned something that was apparently better than what she wanted, and we ended up going and getting something from a restaurant over here rather than some fast food bullshit, which is what she had in mind. Because I mean, it was just, we were just talking about it. I was like, "Fuck yeah, we'll go get some of them empanadas, some enchiladas, and we got to do this shit up right, like damn right." So, like,
Oh my God.
yeah, no. So she explained it to me, right? She explained the whole situation. She says, "Look, I'm not going to talk about my boyfriend." And I went, "We should probably have that conversation." She says, "No, my boyfriend has problems, and this is not part of that." I went, "That is a very interesting statement, and we're going to have to get back to that later. That can't be just
No,
that can't be. I mean, we can
no, it cannot be an undiscussed thing.
that's not going to be a discussed thing." Okay. So it goes a little something like this. Everybody that runs around in her little clique are all like super hardcore rapper gangbanger type folks. And after being involved in a shooting, hanging around with her girlfriends, like not even out with guys or anything, pop, 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 gunfire, everybody scattered. She was like, "Fuck this. No." And she stopped.
I'm going to go find a white guy. Fuck this shit. I'm out.
Basically, she went to her mom and told her, was like, "Look, I'm tired of all of this. I do not want to duck bullets no more. We're not doing this. I'm no longer going out with people my age. I'm going to find someone on the side that will stay on the side, and that's what I'm going to do." And she picked me out of the herd, probably me and 37 other guys, to be honest. But I mean, you know, but
well, I don't even want to know what the other random ass white dudes must be like.
I don't know that, right?
But she probably, honestly, on the safe side, she must be a chick that goes off vibes.
Oh, I'll buy that. That actually checks out real hardcore. Goes off vibes. That works, right? And you got to admit, I do have something of a vibe.
No, I mean that, and I mean that. I mean that. And people are like, "What do you fucking mean?" I'm like, "Well, for example, in no way would I ever, and I mean this, would I ever recommend that, especially a white female of my size and stature, ever get in a car with somebody that she doesn't know, especially a gentleman that she does not know." I've done that twice and lived to tell about it. Why? Because I go off vibes. And if the dude gives me the serial killer vibe, I'm not getting in the car with him. And if he doesn't give me a serial killer vibe, well, I got in the car twice and I lived to tell about it. That's what I mean by vibes. Obviously, I talk to you and interact with you because you don't creep me out like you're a serial killer. That kind of thing. And obviously you don't give her those vibes either.
I kind of feel like your vibe check might be broken on that one.
Nah, maybe.
Dude, I had another good one. I've read this meme. Like, this is actually a meme, and I actually pulled it off in the wild. And there was nobody around to see it but me and homeboy. Right? I went to go try to get I think I narrowly missed being the victim of a serial killer on this one. My hot tub unit is broken. The tub's fine. My unit's broken. So I found one for sale in Georgia. It's a couple hours away. I got in touch with the dude, go down there. He never shows up. But what does happen is after some discussion, he's like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. About 20 minutes later, this really skeezy looking dude came in, looked around, went to the bathroom, walked back to the very same point he had been standing when he first walked in, looked at me real hard, went, and then went back to his truck and left. The truck never parked. He pulled in and just parked like at the end, right in front of the door, right behind all the handicap accesses. And he jumped out the passenger seat, walked in and looked at me, went to the bathroom, come back out, stared at me again, grunted, and then went and got in the truck, and they popped a Brody leaving, right? And the chick behind the counter, we were meeting at a Waffle House over there, of course, and the chick behind the counter goes, that guy looked really, really dangerous. I said, yeah, he did, but it's too bad he didn't have a hot tub heater. I'd just give him money. You don't got to rob me if you got what I want.
Yeah.
Buddy.
That is weird. That's what I was going to say. Maybe he was going to rob the place, but like you wouldn't think that would be the place you'd go in. Like,
never looked at anyone else in that place. He looked straight at me twice and didn't even make eye contact with anybody else in there. He was looking. There's another layer to this. When he got out of the truck, he stood up straight and like stretched his back and looked straight at my yellow Xterra, which was the only identifying information I gave out. He walked in, looked around. There's no one there but me and the Waffle House staff.
you were about to be in the bottom of a hole, and they were going to make you put lotion on the skin, is what was fixing to happen.
Well, they changed their mind real quick when they walked in and saw this big fuzzy bastard sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
that's what happened. That's why he was like, I don't think he's going to fit.
Her mama gave her a big, long lecture about older men. And first of all, this woman has a newborn baby, right? She is past that conversation, as I understand it, you know, or at least maybe it should have already occurred or something. Point is, it didn't stick. Her mama explained to her that the reason she was nervous was because, in her opinion, statistically speaking, most serial killers are old white guys. And when she told me that, I went, that's in the US, that is technically correct as far as convicted serial killers. Although there is some debate on the unfound and undocumented that are out there, you know, serial killers. That might change in the future, you know, because I think it's just a lack of data and a lack of recording up until the mid 80s. I mean, it wasn't even a thing to look for people who killed multiple people. That wasn't a killer. So the data just doesn't exist. And while it's been collected, dang old Waffle House, tell you what. Them damn old goddamn running over there trying to do all that thing on the whooping gang, got to be able to stick and
Waffle House. I just love their name, biscuits and gravy.
You could go to a Waffle House. This I don't know if you could still do this. I don't think so. But you used to be able to go to like a meat market and get steak or something, whatever you wanted cooked, and take it to the Waffle House, and the grandma was supposed to cook it and charge you for the plate you ordered, not the meat. Right? So they charge you for the hash browns, the bread, it wouldn't, but they wouldn't charge you for the meat. And so I remember the way I found out about this, I was doing some still hanging up in South Atlanta, and there used to be a Waffle House up there. I'm pretty sure it got burnt down in 2020, but back when I was there, it was a new establishment, and so it had security guards and stuff. And I was working with like 25 other guys I'd never freaking met. I'm over there making like $35 an hour, climbing around on little bitty things up in the sky. And home cuz gets off work, walks 5 blocks down the road, finds a freaking meat market, and then comes back with 6 of the thickest, most marbled T-bone steaks you ever saw. Walked in and dropped them on the counter. And the guy looked at him and was like, what am I supposed to do with that? And he said, rare, medium rare, well done, well done. All right. And he left. Came back about 30 minutes later. All the fucking steaks was laid out in different little trays and everything. Homeboy done hooked them all up. And,
Nice.
and I was over there snorking what's the fucking that damn peppermint schnapps. The boss man, he had a penchant for peppermint schnapps, and so there was an unlimited source of peppermint schnapps, which personally I think is a flavoring. I don't think that's actual alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Okay.
still.
Like drinking cooking sherry to me.
Yeah, but man, you got different kind of palate that you got to have.
They a different kind of man drinking that shit, because that's real man drinking.
It would put some hair on your chest.
Well, no, ma'am. Grass don't grow on a playground. That's we had a did you notice Toe for Life's hair removal stream the other day?
No, what? I don't what?
Yeah. They're moving back to Ohio, right? Something's changed in Ohio. They've got to go deal with it, and it's going to take a while for them to do it. And they were like, you know what, screw it. We'll just move back there for a year or two and then come back here when we're ready, or don't, or whatever they want to do then. So they're moving to Ohio, and they need to drum up a little money to get everything shipped back from Texas to Ohio. And so somebody came up with the idea of using those hair removal strips on Toe for Life. And so it was $5 a strip. And I'm not going to confess to how many strips I might have paid for.
Yikes. Oh man, oh man. Now I've got to go. I want to find that live stream. Is it behind a paywall?
I don't think so. I don't believe it is. If it's still up, if it's still there, it should still be available. But yeah, like AJOT was going through it. Every time we get a good scream out of him, she'd go ahead and clip it and make it a bit that she could just it's beautiful. Beautiful thing.
That is awesome. I don't know why there's something weird about that, but I do find that just so relaxing for some reason. What was it that I used to watch where they used to do that all the time? I think it was like Extreme Makeover, and I would see the chicks getting waxed. But I don't use wax strips. I don't.
Fucking Toe for Life was like, why don't we do a head-to-head? We'll see who taps out first. And I was like, bro, you're going to tap out long before I do, because grass don't grow on a playground. I got like 5 hairs. That's it. Like 3 on my back. That's it. Like, you're going to have to go to my arms and legs, and the no triangle is out of bounds. We're not doing that. That's not happening.
Yeah.
No.
Definitely not doing that. Don't play me here.
So yeah, I head to head. If you do my legs and arms, but you're not touching eyebrows or none of that stuff. We're not doing that. It's not on the menu.
I just recently plucked them because I don't wax them either. I don't do wax strips. In fact, the only kind of strip that I use at all is like those blackhead strips on my nose.
Oh, I got one. You see this little dot here
on your head?
Yeah.
You've got a blackhead?
No. I had one of the most massive freaking zits I've ever had right before I did the debate with Raging Tomato. And they make little skin colored things that you can put on them that's supposed to keep them from being so amazingly bad. Yeah. It turns out now I know I'm allergic to adhesives. I know this, right?
And why?
Because it was bright freaking red and it was the perfect size, and all I needed was 8 hours to be able to sit and do the full debate in the after show, and I was going to pull it right off. In the after show, I got a little bit tanked. My wife walked in and handed me a freaking pint of rum and was like, "Get tanked, I'm drinking." I was like, "Okay." So I drank a pint of rum after that and forgot all about it.
Oh no.
Walked around half the day trying to get my brain back in order without realizing that thing was still on. So when I decided to peel the fucker off, it come away with a big chunk of meat with it, like burned the fuck in, right? And keep in mind the big ass zit still developing under this now cigarette burn sized burn on my forehead. So this is actually a scar. And here's the funny part: you can't see it in person. And under
Really?
normal lighting, it doesn't show up at all.
Oh, that is hilarious.
I thought you'd enjoy that.
That's fucking awesome. Okay, so the reason why that's funny to me is because just the other day the same kind of thing happened to me, but that's why I was pointing at my mustache and why I haven't had the camera on that much, because the lighting, it's not that lighting that's like, it's not the white lighting that we have in here, it's that weird yellow lighting. And then right now, like, I have the blinds open so that it doesn't do this. It'll close in sometimes and the light will start dimming, and all of a sudden this shit will get dark as fuck, and it looks like I have a full on like man's mustache just chilling only in that light though, because like whenever I went and looked, and I jumped up and I went and looked in the mirror, I was like, well, what the fuck is that on my face? I come back over here and I'm like, what is that? It's a mustache, but you can only see it in the light. Now I actually have a dot on my head right now.
Yeah, I know. You usually have a dot on your head. It's because you're hunted.
No, it's because, well, no, it's because my buddy is Hindu and we were celebrating Ramadan. So
I was celebrating too. Damn right.
It sounds like you've been doing a lot of celebrating.
Oh, yes,
lately.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But with good reason.
God has a very funny sense of humor, and I'm here for it. I think maybe God might be the ultimate troll, because enter lovely young black woman and kidney stones in the same week.
Oh, that is God. That's
I don't know. What else are you going to do but sit around and giggle about it? That's the cosmic gesture in action, bro. That is life. That is the way it
you're not telling. You ain't even telling me anything that I don't know. That is just the same thing as me having some stuff lined up, and then Mother Nature's like, "Hey, how's it been? You know, it's been a month. Hello, yeah, nice to see you."
Imagine her shock when she's like, "We're not going to have sex," and I didn't say a word, and never did anything untowards the whole time. Right? Dropped her off back at her house. Fucking. Couple days later, she calls me up. We go out again. We end up sitting over here watching a bunch of movies that apparently she missed at some point. You know, like Boondock Saints and yeah, right. How do you miss Boondock Saints? How does that happen? Oh,
yeah.
Especially if you're into white guys. I mean,
yeah.
Because she knows both of the actors in that movie is the funny thing by name, right?
So wow.
She's their other work, and I went, "Are you familiar with Norman Reedus?" He's like, yeah, I love him. It's great that all he did. I'm like, have you ever seen Boondock Saints? She says, no. What's that? Hold on. Let me compose myself. You're a young woman. You haven't had the opportunities or you can't possibly have that be. I'm just going to shut up and put it on. So naturally, for the next hour and a half, she's like, because it's a great movie.
I wonder if she's seen The Salton Sea.
I bet she hasn't. I give you dollars to donut. She hasn't.
She needs to see that.
Blazing Saddles.
Oh my God! But I kind of.
Yeah, she's 23. That's an old movie. She may have seen it, but she never paid it any attention because she didn't know what it's about at all.
Right.
And you imagine the look on her face when she's like, "Isn't that like a really racist movie?" And I was like, have you watched it? And she's like, well, I mean, you know, I've seen it. All the jokes seem racist. I said, well, they're also jokes. Are jokes offensive? She said, sometimes. I said, right. But are they funny? She said, yeah. And I was like, so are you offended by jokes? She's like, not really. I said, well, then we'll watch next time you come over, we'll watch Blazing Saddles. And I can break it down for your teenage mind because it's really dense. It's very dense for the modern uneducated youth. They don't get the concept of irony in action, right? They understand it as a word written in a book over there somewhere, but to use irony in front of them correctly, they're lost. They don't understand. Some of them don't
Also,
sarcasm.
yeah, I know. I know that the deer in the headlight look, and I'm like, hello.
Yeah,
that was me being a bitch, dude.
I carry. Oh, damn, I ain't got them. I carry a set of keys around that has my YouTube slave class keychain on it. And anytime somebody gives me, I get that a lot. That deer in the headlight look. That just tried to, where they went wool gathering off in their mind, trying to figure out what just happened. And I'll every time I pull my keys up and go jangle, 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 and they snap to it. I'm like, welcome back.
And I swear I just stumbled on a short. I don't know if it's one that you made or that I clipped and I've made where you're doing that. And I think it's me having that stupid look.
I've done that a couple of times. That one always does well. I'm like, all right, so I figured out the intellect of everybody on YouTube. So here we go. Jingle, 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 jingle. You like that? You like that?
Because it works every time. Like,
all right, Fatty. I appreciate you coming through, bud. It's good to see you.
off the Home Depot.
Yep.
That sounds like so much fun. I love Home Depot and Lowe's for real. I know people are like, what? You? Yes.
What is this?
Oh, it's a heart.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought it was a map.
It's actually a heart and a triangle at the same time.
Junior Birdman.
The pyramid and all that, all rolled into one. Da-da-da, Illuminati.
Sounds like gang signs. Stop it. We don't represent.
You know how it is. Because I'm so gangster. No. Plus, I'm too old for that. I'm too old to be doing stuff like that. And I need to do something with myself today. I need to go and take a shower and wash some clothes. And then see what you're going to do later tonight. If you're going to do anything. Are you?
My grandbaby was born this morning and her baby's still sick. So there's a very chance that I'll end up with a crowd of people over here sometime this afternoon when they let her out of the hospital.
Oh.
It might be tomorrow.
Okay. What about the thing with ADOT tonight?
We're just rescheduling that for next Tuesday.
So no, you're not doing it tonight? Okay, cool. Then maybe we can do something here in a little bit after I go take a shower. I don't know what. I don't know what. But I need to get a better mic.
We could sit around and talk about the first thing that pops up.
Also talk about the pyramids or whatever it is that's going on over there.
Hold on, I've got something for that. Like, okay, what do you think is under the pyramids? Like, really, what do you think it is?
I do think that those are shafts. I don't know what the shafts could possibly be for because it's just a radar scan. And I don't really know what I'm looking at for sure with that radar scan because it's not a really good image.
It's not. All right. First of all, there are shafts under the pyramid. We know this because they have been spoken about and documented in history from the time the sarcophagus was stolen from the pyramid by Al-Rashid, whatever the hell his name was. He mentioned having found some underground shafts down there. It all the way up to like the mid 30s, it was common knowledge that there were a vast number of underground passageways all through the Giza plateau, not just under the pyramids, but all over the freaking place. If you go today, most of them are bricked up, walled off, have bars over them and stuff
And you
like that,
couldn't get to them.
and you cannot get to them. A lot of them have pictures of what hypothetically is in these shafts, but it's just a
But
picture.
nobody's ever been down there to see for themselves.
Not really in living memory that has reported back, at least. Like that's
Right.
all part of the Egyptian historical department or whatever it is they call themselves. Which, yeah, that is under their mandate. I get that. That's fine. The thing is it's common knowledge that there are a vasty number of underground passages in that plateau. That is not news.
No.
That's old. We already knew that.
Yeah.
All this scan does is verify and add some interesting data to it, right? Because the imagery that they're getting back is very, very odd and might have something to do with the pyramids being where they're at, right?
Yes. I would say so.
But the depth of things they're talking about, a shaft that's 1.5 miles deep or whatever, no.
Yeah. I didn't
That
think
is-
so.
Well, no, that is not a man-made structure. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying it's not a man-made structure. It may be a man-modified structure.
I was going to say, it looks more like it's been added onto.
So whether or not there's an open shaft that goes down 2 miles is highly unlikely. That type of limestone generally doesn't do vertical shafts like that on purpose, right? It does leach vertically, but the only way you would end up with a vertical shaft leached into limestone from the pyramids is if the pyramids were somehow stopping water from draining elsewhere, and instead it had eaten out the bedrock under the
I
pyramid.
think
But
they did. I think there used to be water around the Sphinx as well.
sure, yes, we know that there used to be a pool that would develop in the Sphinx enclosure every time it rained. Back in the
Yeah.
mid-50s, I think they actually had to move a road and change the drainage field to stop. They
To
actually
reroute it so that it wouldn't.
water away from the Sphinx enclosure because for 20 years it had 8 inches of water in it and was a cesspool essentially. Now they've got all of that rerouted elsewhere. But a mile deep, bro.
Yeah.
Mile deep. That is far beyond anything we would do searching for something valuable. I mean, we don't build mile deep to go for gold or oil or anything
No.
real, right?
No.
We send a single shaft down to depth and then take the load out. We don't we don't just open
That's kind
a
of what it almost looks like they sent. Like, I know it almost looks like that. The pillars have like this, like etching that goes around it that looks like it's been carved around the edge and the outer rim of the pillar, like almost like a staircase that goes around them. But I don't
Right.
think that they would go down that far because why? For
Well-
one, and why? Honestly,
Hold on,
they've had
let's-
this information before now.
Let's try this. Let's back up and try to see if we can figure out why someone might dig that deeply into the Sphinx enclosure. And I want to cut off the bottom 99% of it. We're not talking about 2 miles. We're not talking about a mile. We're not talking about half a mile. I'll say 1,000 feet deep.
Yeah.
A reason people would dig 1,000 feet deep on the Giza Plateau. And thinking on it, I can only come up with one. It is a limestone quarry that has been there since before the pyramids were built. Fact. Where the pyramids sit may well have been an earlier quarry location. The reason the pyramids were chosen to go there was because those were very firm locations on the plateau. The bedrock was very solid. It was
Solid.
really worked.
Yeah, it was
You-
stable.
Stable, right. If there was a quarry there, it wouldn't be stable. If they knew they
Right.
had that spot, they would not have put it there. So it's more likely these are natural caverns. And if that's the case, they had to have been made by leaching water. And if that's the case, they were made back before the pyramids. were ever
Way before the pyramids.
Yeah, when the
Right.
Sahara was green
Yeah.
Right. Now I'm not talking about anything man-made here. So then the Egyptians show up 10,000 years later, and they start changing things on the Giza plateau, finding some of the natural caverns and whatnot, which almost all of them have been reworked by humans. At this
Yeah, because
point,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. That looks like there's evidence of like man-made around what was probably a natural occurring like pillar. You know what I mean? Like when I say pillar, you know what I mean by naturally occurring
so
a pillar. But also there's more to that where the pyramids are and the ground and at the center, it's the center point of the earth.
I suspect those scans, the way those scans are working, that's something to do with the granite in the pyramids or interfering with it, and that's why we're
Mhm.
getting the weird shadows that look like really deep holes. I think there are voids under there, and that they may very well be stacked up, just like the little lines show. Right?
Yeah.
I think they're all connected.
No. You do or don't?
I don't. Or if they are, it might be something like you're talking about, a little spiral staircase that goes as far down as they could go. But
Yeah.
there would be no reason to do so except water. They'll go
Yeah.
as deep as they need to go to get to water. But consider this: they live on the Nile, and while Giza is not terribly close to the Nile now, it was once upon a time. And that was when all of that stuff got built, was back when the river was close by. And if you needed access to water, if you go look in India, they do these things where it's an open well that is stepped down, and it looks very much like the imagery that you get from
Yeah,
that.
the steps. Yeah. It goes down into the river.
And there's another point here, and this is something that seems to happen the world over in megalithic societies. They build these structures, not the underground stuff, but the pyramid itself. Quite often, these seem to be positioned directly over or very near prominent sacred water sources,
Yeah.
right? And the pyramid complex would make perfect sense for a high ground location from which to dispense water publicly that's drinkable to the public, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with communion wafers, like thousands of years later. If everybody's drinking out of the river and everybody's pooping in the river, then it's not safe to drink out of the river, right?
Right.
And so if you find a clean water source and you make it part of your religion to come and be baptized, clean, cleansed, drink in this location, then the people who drink in that location are healthier than everyone else in the kingdom, meaning that their God has blessed them, and you can see the obvious benefits of it.
Yeah.
With communion wafers, it's a little different. Back in like the early Middle Ages, there was a change in the recipe to communion wafers, more salt and a higher quality of flour that was like more of a multi-grain kind of concept was done. The flour change was done because the flour they were using before was expensive, and so
Mhm.
they downgraded the flour. But the salt addition was done, and a little tiny bit of citrus
Wow.
once it became available, vitamin C.
Huh. That's pretty
All
cool. I did
most
not
medi-
know that.
most medieval peasants didn't get enough salt, and they got what vitamin C they got was largely gotten in the spring, summer, and fall, but not in the winter. And so your midwinter masses would be a critical moment when they would be ridden with scurvy, and they could come through once a week and get a dose of vitamin C and salt, and all of the people in the parish would be healthier than the other people that weren't part of this church.
Wow. I
Yet
did not
again,
know that.
their teeth would be whiter, their skin would be brighter, they'd have less lesions, they'd be healthier in general.
And it really does have a lot to do with the salt.
Yeah. Well, salt, a little bit of vitamin C. God knows what they were actually using to make those little wafers. So it may have had some other benefits that we just don't know about. It was a secret
Yeah.
recipe, you know.
And they still don't know what exactly everything they don't know the recipe.
We have recipes, right? but they're quite eclectic depending on where they come from. They're different. So while basically it's all the same unleavened flour with a small amount of salt and various other things to make it like hardtack, and you could keep
Yeah.
it for a while there. Hell, they might still do this. I don't know. You could only get your communion wafers from uphill in the church. You couldn't
Oh,
make your
wow.
own, right? I think it was during the Protestant, but during the schism, after the schism, suddenly all the little churches decided they could make their own communion wafers, but some people actually made them to keep people, to help out people with their health. Whoever figured that out was a fucking genius, though.
Yeah. Really, though. That's one of this little thing, like some of the stuff, how we acquired little things like that, the knowledge. And
Hold on, Uncle Fatty. He said we did a dive on canes a few nights ago. The new tech is kind of sketchy. I think it's like sonotubes filled with cosmic concrete made of diamond fat-linium. Fat aluminum. Yeah. Now, the thing is, this tech isn't specifically new. Nothing about it is. What's new is the methods of parsing out the data in the scans, right? We've been running these scans all over the earth forever and ever and ever since
Yeah.
so that's not new data. It's just that they found a new way to parse out the data and think they found a pattern here. But it's a pattern that was expected. They went looking for something using a data model that they chose to use, found oddly exactly what they were looking for. That's not science.
No.
Now, it might be correct. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's not how science works.
No.
Know this is true and then go prove it. That's not
science. Exactly. That's not how that goes.
You might be right and you might succeed at that, but
it's like you would expect that naturally after the fact.
So, make of it what you will. Like I said, I think a natural voids probably go down a couple of miles there. Some of them might be quite large. It is a proper karst formation, a good source of limestone, and there have been literally 10,000 years of folks carving rocks off that place. Impossible that it goes down 2 miles? Technically, no. But the question becomes, how do you breathe that deep? If you put enough people in that hole to dig a 2-mile hole, you've got to have ventilation and stuff to make it breathable. We do to this day. We have to have ventilation and stuff in mines. And so if you're running a deep hole, I need to hear about some ventilation stuff.
Yeah. Especially that deep.
Yeah. But beyond that, there's no way that hole, okay, hypothetically, let's say there is a singular open pit up under the Pyramid of Giza's, and it's fucking enormous. It's full of water and sand. It would be completely full of sand. Every crack we found in the Great Pyramid had to have sand excavated out of it, with the exception of the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber. Almost all of the rest of it had 3 or 4 foot of sand blown into it. There's no reason to suspect that an open space below the pyramid wouldn't have exactly the same effect going on with it. Clearly, it's open to the surface somewhere, right?
Yeah, it has to be. Well, there's that hole.
It had to have been, not necessarily be today, because they've closed off so many of the subterranean accesses up there. It might not be the surface today, but there was 10,000 years of prehistory on that rock before the pyramid was built. So, it's probably full of sand.
Yeah, because they were almost buried completely.
The answer to all of this, when it's said and done, I think it's going to end up being water. If there are man-made structures below that level, it will be some sort of sacred well or water access or something like that. We would expect to find one of these here is another thing. Like
Yeah,
if we're looking for a sacred location for water inside of Cairo, inside of Egypt, and
that's where you would look first.
we'd go look at the Giza Plateau because it's the highest point
That's
in
the
that
point.
area, and
Yeah.
it's also a solid chunk of limestone, which means if you can find water in it, it'll probably be good to drink. That's
Yeah,
the only logical reason I could come up with why a bunch of prehistoric proto farmers decided to dig a freaking hole.
yeah, because they were looking for water, obviously.
Not just looking for water, looking for a specific clean flowing,
The
clean
source.
a
Yeah,
source was for the holy site that was already developing at that location, probably being the highest point locally.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. That would make sense.
And if that's the desire, and they happen to dig somewhere on the Giza Plateau and found a natural cavern that was already there, this has been done in Sumer, all across Mesopotamia, all across India, all across China. This is a regular method of a sacred spring being discovered, is to find an underground water source that just happens to be there. Now, let's fast forward 5,000 years, right? The Nile has moved farther away from Giza, and now the water source is going down deeper and deeper and deeper. How deep do you reckon they would dig? They would carve limestone blocks out of that place.
At least 200 or 300 feet, at least.
I'll go 1,000. Like I said, I don't have an issue if there are
But at
already.
minimum, you're like 200 or 300 feet, at least.
But if
But like,
there are natural caverns there, and all they're having to do is cut through sections of flooring to get deeper and deeper, and each layer basically brings them a little bit more of this drinkable water, this sacred spring, there's no reason why you wouldn't keep going. And if it happened to go 2 miles, I don't see that happening. It seems highly unlikely.
overkill.
Much. And also the amount of open area that's depicted in the scans are just
Yeah.
absurd.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Because it's almost to the point to where you worry about the structure integrity being at risk of collapsing.
Keep in mind, that is the singular heaviest, largest structure, the heaviest structure ever constructed by the hand of man.
Yeah.
On Earth. There is
so the fact that void is so big doesn't make sense.
And you could make the argument, because we've always had a bit of a mystery of where some of the pyramid blocks come from. We have records of a bunch of blocks, but not enough to build 3 pyramids.
Right.
Or on Giza, right there, but it's not missing enough stone to build 3 pyramids.
Right. So where did
all the other stone come from? If they were hauling it up as part of a water seeking process, then I don't see a problem with them stacking a shit ton of stones right over here and right over there and another one right over yonder.
But they would have just randomly stacked them, not into a form of pyramidal structure.
This is a religious site. These are holy waters. They are not, you wouldn't just throw them over to the side over there. Plus, this is valuable limestone. It's not just any random rock that you're pulling.
Yeah, you can use that for other building purposes.
It's valuable. And so the pyramids being built may have been a combination effort of creating a holy site with more grandeur while preserving the source of water that was available at that holy site. And all of the walls and causeways and all of that stuff could suddenly be rather explained away as far as the material used to build them having been pulled up out of a hole directly under the Giza Plateau in the first place, which would also explain the really weird references we have from the early 20th century of different white explorers going through there talking about there being massive chambers. And I can't remember the dude's name. There's this one dude who claimed that he was in Egypt for like 6 weeks waiting for some other archaeologists to come join him so they could go up to the Aswan region to go try to
Carter?
find.
Not Carter?
It's
No.
it's never found anything worth mentioning, and ended up bugging out of that project before he even actually got signed on to it, because he went up there a few weeks before they were supposed to start, realized it was going to be a whole shit show, and followed through far enough to go to the site of the archaeological dig. But that's not where his story is. He just said screw that and went back to Cairo. Homie's staying in Cairo and has nothing to do all day. And he spends the first couple of days drinking. He spends the next couple of days rabble rouse, and he spends the next couple of days just sitting in his apartment. And it's a very boring thing, and it's stupid hot. He has nothing to do. And he ends up running into some kid who's told him, oh, well, we got a place we play soccer that's really cool. And in like a temperature fashion. And he's like, great, anything that's cool is fantastic. I'll even bring some water. So he went to the fucking British embassy or whatever and got a big ass thing of water and followed these kids down to some, according to him, 400 meters long and 150 meters wide, 60-meter high cavern somewhere in the Giza region that they reached by crawling through a quarter mile of freaking tunnel. Not crawling, but like walking through. But it was a shortcut. He said there were no pathways anywhere else, that it went straight to this place. When you get into this place, it had stepped sides as if it had been quarried out, and there was a spot just about the size of a soccer pitch somewhere in the middle of the area. And it's 30 degrees cooler in there than it was outside. And so he spent most of his days there just because it was cooler. He went and got wine and went and played soccer with the kids because he didn't have anything else to do. And in the book, there's several references to this, but he only really describes it once, the first time he saw it. And then like a couple of weeks later, he mentions that occasionally a bit of sand sifts into the room. Like, you'll just see it.
Like it would just shake or something that would fall in.
He just mentioned the sand falling from the ceiling.
Yeah.
One
it's got to be under one of those damn pyramids.
The sand would fall in his glass. And that's basically the reference, that he had sand in his wine and it could only come from the ceiling. So that's a weird detail, but no one's ever found that cavern. That cavern's never been released to the public. If it exists at all, if he wasn't making it up, then that one cavern is a major question as to the veracity of these underground structures. Because if they were quarrying underground, which is unusual because most quarries of that time period would have been open pit.
Yeah.
So I find it very likely, but at the same time, not impossible if they happen to find an access that was fairly easy to get to.
Right. But it's got, to me, it makes sense that it's under one of the pyramids, only because it's called the sand is leaking in because of vibration from the top. So it's likely that it's under the floor, the base floor of one of them.
That plateau is surrounded on three sides by one of the most modern cities in the Western Hemisphere. It's under constant construction, constant vibration. Like,
so it could be maybe close to one of the roads, under one of the roads.
He couldn't tell. He said that how was it he put it? Something about the directions were so random that by the time he got halfway in, he couldn't determine whether he was facing north or south. That at first he had tried to keep track of where he was, but it was just up, down, left, right, up, down, left, and a couple of dog legs here and there, and poof, you're in a big open room.
Huh.
He said the access was next to a road that we know where was now, like where it used to be, but there's a whole tract of like housing and an entire neighborhood built in that area, and there's no reports of having come across any type of major anything when they were building. Either it's fairly deep,
yeah,
or it was possible. I suppose it could have been
Blocked off.
well collapsed.
Yeah,
And
on top and on it. Yeah, when they were
just
building the city.
because they
Yeah,
did a lot of blasting in that area to flatten it out back in the day.
that's very likely.
Daddy,
Then
back
it's
off.
very likely.
I don't want to play with you. Go.
What the fuck was that? So yeah, okay.
Ghost.
No, I think it's that crap across the street will cause vibration in the house too. It does that a lot. And it makes shit blow and fall from upstairs. I hear because I'm in the basement, so I hear everything going on upstairs. And this house is old and it's starting to like settle. So the foundation is off. So shit is always fucking opening and closing and all kinds of crap in here. So that's really bad.
I live right up on a major highway here,
Oh yeah.
and we have folks riding through like big truckers, and when they jake brake to stop at the light down the road, the whole house vibrates.
Oh yeah.
So not unusual to be sitting around and hear something go brrr, and then something fall off the shelf.
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Especially when it's real quiet, I'll hear something like that. It's something just fall out of nowhere, and I'm like, "Oh, what the?" Then I remember it's the trucks. It's the trucks, and they're
Dude,
big.
I saw a whole crowd. About one of my daughters had a sleepover was there were about 10 girls here, and we were in there watching some freaking series of movies like Twilight or whatever, and for whatever reason we have these like Coca-Cola bottles that we got from different places with different people's names on it and stuff, all lined up on top of one of the shelves in there. And these 3 cut trucks come through, jake breaking, and they're watching Twilight, and all of a sudden, poof, all 4 of the freaking bottles fall off the edge of the thing, and they
Oh my-
freak out. They're like, "What
They
was
were
that?"
probably in the zone in the middle of their movie in Twilight shit. Yeah,
There wasn't a sound in that room. All of a sudden, you hear 3 trucks.
just scream.
But I wasn't. I didn't even notice the trucks. They didn't hear that. They just saw the things bounce off the shelf and freaked out and was screaming so loud after that they couldn't hear the jake breaking at all.
So they just assumed it was a ghost.
Yeah.
So we're all gonna sleep in a living room in the sleeping bags together, so they can't get us. That's what we did when we were kids. My little buddy.
I had a little bit of a different upbringing. When I went on sleepovers, I always thought they were super fucking lame because if the weather was good and there was no reason for me to be at home, I wasn't. My ass was out in the canoe somewhere doing something useful to the world, like fishing or I don't know, learning to make a whistle out of bamboo. I don't know, just
exploring something, some shit.
Something other than sitting here at the house staring at a wall. And then I'd go, when they'd come visit me, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to show you something cool." Like what? I don't know. It's this thing over here. You go get in a canoe and spend 4 hours getting out there. And they're like, "All right, so when are we going home?" Home? No, I'm staying here tonight. You can go home if you want to. I'll be back directly. Like what? Yeah. Come around the corner. There's a little campground already set up over there. It's like, yeah, I'm staying right here, bro.
Yeah. Outside.
So it was always strange to me to go to somebody's house, sit in a room and stare at a TV for 8 hours. That I didn't really dig on that.
Yeah. Well, we're girls, so we would do that like at certain times of the year. That's what you did because you just didn't go outside and do that. But if it was summertime, we were outside from the time the sun was up to the time the sun went down, and sometimes past that. So, which is like what? But if it's raining on like kind of like the day, it's been a day until right now, where the sun's just now starting to like actually show up, and it's like 4 in the afternoon.
It's been doing that all down here. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But that'll mess with it really fucks with my circadian rhythm, anyways. And so I won't hardly do shit because the light. And the level of light too has a big impact on me. Like really.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I prefer the dark.
Well, you have to have some light. You need vitamin D, or you'll become depressed and schizoid.
Yeah,
So, like, carry your ass out and lay in the sun like once every couple of weeks.
I'm going to.
Or like
Oh,
an
during the
hour.
summer, I'm gonna be outside every freaking day.
Yeah.
I like that. I
I
don't
mean,
like being inside.
I spend so much time in this little fucking room editing and doing stuff that occasionally, like once or twice a week, I just say fuck it, and I'll put on a pair of damn swim trunks and go sit in the fucking sun, just sit straight in the goddamn sun on the back porch,
Yes,
my feet
I go
propped up.
stare at it. Like, really, people are like, you shouldn't do that. I'm like, I know, but still,
No, I can't do it.
I was just staying there, just conversate with it. Like,
Bitch, I got blue eyes. That's
I
cataracts.
do too.
Fucking doing it. No, that's why you blind as hell. Can't
Probably so.
stop it.
Probably so. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dial that back for sure. That is no doubt, no doubt part of the problem.
Yeah. Let's not do that so much at all.
No, and then maybe put on my glasses more if I'm gonna be doing dumb shit like that. Like, you know, and go outside more. Just period. Go outside, like outside. Going over to the window and looking at the outside does not count as going outside. They're not the same thing.
It's not reaching out a window and touching grass does not count. Sorry.
It's not the same.
For all the little kitties out there that might be watching, that's not a day outside. That's not what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, you got to literally physically take your ass outside.
I learned something this morning.
Well, okay.
Apparently, grandsons aren't born with fishing poles, so I'm gonna
They
have to buy.
aren't.
I'm gonna have to buy him one.
Yep. It's
Yep.
not a standard issued thing they come with.
I don't
Thank
even like,
God.
I don't even like fishing. I'm gonna make that kid hate it too. Watch.
Oh, why? They need to know though. It
I
is a
got.
skill that is good to have. It really is.
I have. I have essentially fathered an entire generation of daughters. Right. Like for whatever reason, I don't know why this is. The children I directly had a hand in raising were largely girls, and
Yep.
so there's an entire generation of girls in this town that either call me pops, papa, or something along those lines, and it's just, I mean, I don't know. It's I
It's
used to
progressively
volunteer
getting bigger.
at different uh, uh
It's fading.
back in high school. I had I can't remember what they called the damn thing. We had a program where you could you would get an A if you participated, essentially, but you had to volunteer at some charity type thing somewhere in town, and you could go help hospice people. You could go help some of the old folks homes. You could go help some of the daycares and stuff like that in town, and it was like being a teacher's assistant, sort of. You were just going through the motions, figuring out how life works in general. And for the first couple of years this program was available, where did you get a slice of bread?
Oh my goodness. The dog's just like, I'm gonna go help myself to the bread. There's probably a whole bag of bread that the dog has gotten in. I would not even be surprised. I've got to go potty. Let me go and see what the absolute hell is going on too. I said take a walk with me here. Now I'm gonna mute the mic because I can hear that there's TV on and I don't want to get in trouble with the copyright stuff. So let me mute it.
That puppy must have learned to fly. don't get it. How the hell he find it? How you get up on the counter in there? He can't even jump up on the damn couch.
Oh, wait.
He just come walking in the bedroom with a slice of bread hanging out of his mouth, laid down and started eating it. I'm like, how'd you get where the fuck did you get a slice of bread?
I said I probably went and found the whole bag of bread. There's probably a whole bag of bread somewhere.
He sure did. He found a piece of a bag of bread, had like 3 or 4 pieces left in it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to go to the place. I'm gonna put this on hold and you can hold it down for a second.
Fucking animals. Oh, he's so bad. He is so bad. Changed his name from Buddy to Buddy Lorenzo. I have somebody to blame. Things go wrong. I hope I'm nice today. I think I need to be higher than this. Yeet, yeet. So yeah, I don't think we're going to end up finding the Akashic records under the pyramid. There might be something under there worth looking at, but I think we'll find more to do with like prehistoric occupation in those spaces than we will anything groundbreaking. It'll be more of the same shit we've already found. Now what are you eating? Where do you keep finding this stuff? Huh. Apparently that's not the first piece of bread he brought in here. Wonder how that works. The stream's gone downhill quick, and
Okay, I got it. That's okay. I was gonna say I was gonna end it because I gotta go. I gotta take the dog for a walk, and then I need to take a shower. But also because I want to take a break so that if we do decide to do one later tonight, then we can regroup beforehand.
Well, I'm right here. I got major fucking plans. I mean, there's a
other than you might have house guests later, right? Possibly.
That may happen. It might not. They'll probably go to her mama's house, to be honest. I'm not the most loved out of the group.
Whatever.
Well, no, I'm the one that says no, right?
Right.
Like everybody else sends them to me for me to say no.
Yeah, but somebody has to be the one that puts their foot down every once in a while.
Sure, but that don't mean I got to be happy about it.
Right, and then they're not going to be usually. Nobody likes to hear the word no.
When the children come in wanting whatever it is they want, it's either yeah, okay, here we'll do that, or go ask Sasquatch. They know it. So rather than saying no, they say ask Sasquatch. And of course, for freaking 20 years, these kids have run in asking me, and my job is to say no. This is the agreement we made. This way, you don't have to say no. And if they want it bad enough to ask me, don't be surprised when I say yes. Right?
Right.
I'm in here going, I want some ice cream. And I'm like, shit, I want some ice cream too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, do not. And I mean, if you do not want your kid to have ice cream, I am the wrong person to send them to if you want the answer to be no. Because it is absolutely never going to be no. I've never going to be like, no. Never. I'm like, do you know where it's at? Let's go. Hurry.
Yeah, I'll drive. I ain't even got their license.
Exactly. Exactly. And we got to hurry and get back. That way your mom don't find out that I drove you without a license in the car. Hurry, but let's go. I'm paying for it. Because I have a serious problem with ice cream.
Pretty sure that's a crime. Like an actual.
Yeah, if their mom doesn't know, yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about taking the car.
Yeah, that too. Especially if I don't have permission to take the car. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be in some fucking trouble. Yep. No, but that's one thing I've always there's never been a time in my mind or a situation where I've been in where I was like, I could just steal this car right now. Never. I would literally go to the person and be like, hey, I need to get the fuck out of here because I don't like what's going down right now. And if you're not going to leave, you mind if I get your keys? I will come and get you when you're ready to go. Like, but I'm getting the fuck out of here. This is crazy.
I've
Not
stolen
doing it.
one time, exactly one time.
You stole one?
I straight up stole the keys. Now, after I explained everything, everybody understood and they didn't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
When my wife's grandmother died, she left everybody something in the will. Nobody knew what it was, and it couldn't be opened until everybody was together. And then once it was opened, it took a little while for everybody to get settled out. And so we ended up, rather than we were supposed to be getting the house like a year before this. And so rather than renting a place, I was staying out at Pop's, and it had turned into a year-long thing instead of a couple of weeks like I'd expected. Right. So everybody's super unhappy. Nobody likes this situation. And I had just decided like a week or two before, like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just going to rent a place. We'll get the hell out of here and we'll all be able to breathe. It'll be fine. While I'm calling around looking for a place to rent, I get the phone call from the lawyer saying, hey, I'm in town for like the next 25 minutes. If you want the key to your house, you need to come get it now. And I'm about 16 minutes from town out there. And that's hauling ass. That's like speeding a little bit. So this is going to be hard to do regardless.
Yeah.
My pops was in the bedroom asleep. My Taurus was torn apart to replace the water pump on it. His Silverado was torn apart to replace one of the spindles on the front. And the van was torn apart to replace the timing chain on it. And so the only vehicle left was the S10 that actually functioned and had insurance on it. And I just walked in, picked up the keys. He woke up with me and said, what are you doing? I said, stealing your truck. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Oh my God.
He just walked out, got in the truck, left. Pops got, he starts calling me. I don't even answer the phone. I'm not prepared for that conversation right now, because if I miss this, I'll have to come back and explain all of this and stay there for another couple of weeks. But if I can get the key, we can move out tonight, bro.
Yeah, like this is over and we don't even have to get into an argument. I'm already out the door.
Yeah. So when I got to the place I was supposed to meet him, I actually he was like driving out of the parking lot, and I parked across the driveway to keep him from leaving before he could see who it was. Because I had to documentation of who I had to bring all my stuff with me to prove who I was, so I could pick it up, because my wife was actually working out of town at the time, and she was the one that was supposed to come do all this, but we were married. So I'm not even sure this is going to fly at all. So I got the key. All of it worked out with no problem. We walked through, checked everything out. He stuck around to do that. And then he left, and I took his truck back home. And when I got home, he had, like I said, the Silverado was having a spindle replaced, and it was only waiting for a part. I mean, you put it back together in an hour. I'd been gone about 2.5 hours. While I was gone, they'd fixed the Silverado. And so when I get home, Pops ain't even there. I just walk in and drop the keys back where I got him from. Gather up all my shit.
The Silverado while you were gone?
Well, yeah. I mean, this happened at 9 a.m., 8 a.m. It was really stupid early.
Oh, okay.
So I figured I'd probably be back before he actually needed the truck anyway, which is the only reason I did it in the first place. Otherwise, I'd have woke his ass up and bitch, get in the truck. We got to go.
Yeah.
I didn't really have time for none of that. So I come back. Pops comes home 4 hours later, and I have the Silverado, I have the S10 completely loaded up with my shit. And he doesn't even, he stops the truck and when he climbs out, I climb in it and turn his truck around and back it up to the front door and unload some more of my shit in it.
Okay. Wow. No
there. He's watching what's going on. And there's I got 10 people over here moving my crap out of this house. I called up everybody that owed me a favor. I was like, dude, I've got to get the hell out of here, and I got a place to go. So we're going. It's happening right now. So
Like,
grab your panties and let's go do it. And so I had a whole people show up and just start loading shit up in the trucks. And I had 2 other trucks show up to come and get my shit and bring it over here. So
that's probably what kind of event it's going to be when I end up moving out of here.
Pops told me he felt like he'd been robbed. And I was like, I said, well, did I take anything that didn't belong to me? He's like, actually, more of this shit belongs to you.
You still left some shit over you.
But it still looks like I got robbed.
Especially if you're looking at it from the outside looking in and you just see all these people backing up the trucks and just moving shit out to hustle. Like, yeah.
My brother was staying out there at the time, and he had gone to do some job out of town for a couple of days. He comes back, and that place looks like a carcass picked over by vultures.
Yeah.
We had the manpower and we started moving stuff. Pops was like, I don't like that bookshelf. That thing needs to go. That needs to go. I don't like this. This needs packing up and stuck out in the shed. And so there was more stuff removed than just the stuff that I got.
Right.
So Dan comes in at 2:00 in the morning. A couple of days later, walks in. There's no couch. There's no TV.
Oh my God. There's no couch.
He's utterly flummoxed because my room's picked clean, the living room's picked clean, the dining room's picked clean. The only thing left in the dining room was the table and the chairs that went around it. That was it. Everything else is gone out of that side of the house. And so he goes through, opens his door, and there's nothing been touched in there, right? He's like, okay, that's interesting. Opens my door, and it's vacant. There's nothing in the room. There's not even tape left from the posters that were on the wall.
Damn.
Yeah. No, when I left that place, I left we had some housekeepers that came over about once a week to kind of pick up some stuff, and I dropped them an extra $100 and was like, I need you to come clean everything up after I'm gone, like all of the frou-frou that gets dropped.
Yeah.
By the time Dan got there, like it was spotless.
I bet.
Really professional thieves had come through. And
yeah. They were like Dexter type of shit. I just cleaned this shit up on my way out.
But yeah, no, Pops goes in there that night when we were moving stuff out. I'd already called the chicks with the cleaning van and told them what was up. I didn't know exactly when it would be, but I let them know. Apparently they showed up the next morning before Pops woke up. Because when he wakes up, the only thing in the house past the kitchen was the table, a coffee table, and like a little tiny Charlie Brown Christmas tree thing.
Oh.
That was apparently behind something that no one had noticed. And they had come in and cleaned it up and put it on the middle of the table and plugged it in. So he like wakes up and thought there was a fire. And he runs in there and it looks. This place
I had one of those. I had one of those Charlie Brown trees. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You tell me when it's blinking, it don't look like the house is on fire.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh my God, I bet he thought that shit was on fire.
Right?
And then you see the tree and you're just like, oh man. That's sad. It's sad.
Oh, I got another one. This happened a couple of days ago. I remember I told you I ran across my aunt after she found my channel and she tried to dress me down for being so vulgar. And I told her I didn't make content for little old ladies.
No shit.
Like, if you don't like my content, don't watch it. I'm not going to make you. I don't insist. But if you want a good laugh, you can. Okay, so she corners me again at the Waffle House a couple of nights ago. But I was on one that night, bro. Like,
did she find your channel by accident? Like she just happened to stumble upon it?
Pretty sure my brother told her about it. That kind of stuff. And last time I talked to her, I was like, now listen, if you don't want the answers to questions, you don't want the answer. If you don't want the answers to the questions, don't ask them. Right. And so I walk in Waffle House, she's over there. She's like, Sasquatch, come over here. I need to talk to you. I sit down. Cousin looks at me. She goes, ooh, what'd you do? I said, I started a YouTube channel and didn't immediately bend to her will. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
Back and forth. We end up talking about the wedding and all kinds of other crap, And then finally she gets around to me ring up my channel. And I said, Auntie, before we go any further, I'm going to break your perception of yourself. But I just want to talk to you guys. No. It's my channel. We'll talk about it when I get to it. First, we're going to talk about you. So are you sure you want to go down this rabbit hole? I said, ma'am, why are you racist?
Oh my God.
I am not. I said, you are. You clearly are. I mean, she's racist, right? And my cousin looks at me and goes, I'm not in this. I'm just here to watch.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? She's like, I said, I can prove it. You cannot. Absolutely can. In fact, I can make you laugh about it and then realize I'm right. She crosses her arms, says, I want to see this. My cousin pulls out her phone and flips it over. She's like, I want to see this too.
Yeah, I'm going to record this. That's it. Like, let me pull this out. Because we're going to loop this. Play it back.
So I looked her straight in the face and I said, Auntie, how many Ubuntu tribesmen does it take to screw in a light bulb? She says, I don't know. I said, they're humans, you racist. All you have to do is explain what a light bulb is. She laughed. Said, I told you. I was going to make you rethink your entire life choices with a question. You laughed because you're racist. You laughed because it's funny, and you didn't know that about yourself because you had convinced yourself you'd gotten all over that. Like, not a thing anymore, except for the fact that it actually is inside.
Yeah.
So now what? Are you the asshole or am I the asshole for pointing it out? Now, what would you like to know about my channel? I am not saying nothing. Like, I do what you want to
do. Yeah. That's
a tirade saying your father made you shut up every single time you opened your mouth until you were 25. He wouldn't let you say anything and said, and this is why he really hates it when I'm right. Like, really hates it. And I don't like being wrong. So you're going to have to break out a slide rule and some books to prove me wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I don't have a problem when eating the crow when somebody proves me wrong. But trust me, most of the time, I'm not going to waste the time opening my fucking mouth if I don't know what the hell I'm talking about or have some sort of degree of knowledge about it.
I have dozens of recipes for crow. I have eaten plenty of it in my life. So I've got no problem with it. If I am wrong, prove me wrong and I'll go with it. But what I won't accept is when somebody goes and grabs some random study from some high school science project or some shit and tries to use this for proof of something. And I'm like, nah. I want a peer-reviewed study. We're not doing any of this bullshit, bitch.
Exactly. I think that was kind of like what happened with that. Okay, so on the Raging, it was. I'm pretty sure this might be this conversation you're talking about. So I was watching the Raging Tomato stream, and you were there, and that it was about God is real. That's what I'm talking about. And there was a particular part of the conversation where something gets said to dude, and he literally, like, it was like somebody literally set a flame under his ass and lit it on fire, and it ignited into like a combustible fucking explosion. It was insane. And it was about, what was it about? It was definitely about God, but in a legal sense. And it had to do with the legal stuff about God. And he just lost his fucking absolute marbles over it. And I was sitting here just laughing because you just sat there quietly and then you waited and then I don't even know if it was you or if it was like two of the other panel guests that ripped into him first. And then whatever you said with the final little tidbit, I was like, oh, see that right there.
I will drop a one-liner in a heartbeat. I have no issue with that. But as far as trying to deconstruct someone's belief in God, that's not me.
No, it was what you said to like sum up everything that the other two were trying to say. And I was like, see, that's all you needed to say. That right there. And that made more sense what you said than what those two spent the last 20, 30 minutes. I think it was like 20, 30 minutes trying to tear this dude a new asshole. And in the end, made all three of them look like jackasses. And I think you left right after that, too, if I'm not mistaken.
I do have a tendency of doing that. If I feel like I've dropped the freaking mic, I just walk away.
I think that's what happened. And I sit there for a little while afterwards because I just couldn't help. I was like, I just got to see what gets done after this because I would, when you said what you said, I was like, he's going to leave. Somebody's watching it with me. I was like, he's going to leave. Watch. And you said it, and I was like, see, boom, he was gone. You didn't even say you were going to leave. You just left. It was freaking awesome. I'm pretty sure it was like Raising Tomato stream. Yeah. From just like 3 or 4 nights ago.
I mean, I kind of feel out of place over there. I'll be honest. Most of these other people that are up there have dedicated far more time and effort to be in that place than I did.
Mhm.
I kind of rode in on somebody's back pocket, and I guess I don't really understand. I guess I made enough of a splash to warrant it, I guess. I don't know. I did try to help her with the channel. I mean, I made an effort. It's just, you know, how much can you do for somebody who's already got it all figured out?
Yeah, she's pretty good at what she does too. She's got a wide variety of people that come through there as well. But you do too. So do you. So does Flo. And because of that, it's really got my algorithm doing some weird fucking shit lately. Yeah.
I mean, I might be the only person out here who regularly get live streams of people who just did their first live stream. And it's because I spend time looking for people who haven't done a live stream yet.
I also, because of what you do and what me being on your channel, I also get channels that are like somewhat established but don't have a really large audience base yet, but they have like a really lot of good content, like really lot of good. And I'm like, oh, I bet he's not. And I've saved some of their links, and so I can send them to you because I'm like, oh, they need to do. When some of them, I'm like, oh, he should do a Shields with this one. And I've been writing it down on my notebook over here, so I'm going to send some of that to you here in a little while after I take a shower, because some of it's funny and then some of it's like, I just want to know more about that channel. But there's some of them that I'm like, you should do Shields with, because I think that.
Well, all right, so there's a few things that go along with that whole being interested in doing a Sasquatch Shields. For one thing, they have to have like regular uploads of some description, typically before they are monetized. And when I say regular, it doesn't have to be a whole lot of content, but it does have to have some sort of structure to it. The structures of your upload says a lot about the type of person you are just on its surface, right? If you've got the regular upload, say once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever, you're doing something, you're actively building your channel, you're trying to make it go of this. I got no problem with helping folks out like that. That's great. On the other hand, if you've done all of that stuff, but the only topic you talk about is this big, right?
Yeah.
I can't sell that.
Yeah.
If all you ever talk about is race, I can't sell that. If you have no humor involved in it, I can't sell that. Right?
Or the transgender. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm sorry, but if that's your cross and you want to go down it, you go on ahead and do that. Don't expect everybody else to jump in the boat and go with you.
Right. And I mean, I have presented those channels. I just don't do it anymore. It feels like a waste of time. And I'm not going to name names, but they know who they are.
Yeah. No.
If your topic base is this wide, I'll skip it.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody like 5/5 or Truism the Stormcrow, and while Truism Stormcrow is largely part of that race-based YouTube, he's poking fun at the whole concept. And if you can't get it dense, right? That's why I put him up, you know. So I mean, there is a little bit of a hurdle you have to jump. But another thing, and this is the biggest one, I have to become aware of you, and you can't be monetized. Like the Rage of Tomato monetized the week before. Like we had already scheduled everything up and set it up, and she got monetized before I did the show. So it kind of
Right.
broke the program a little bit. Same thing with Based Oracle. He got monetized right before I did the thing.
They did the show. Oh, wow.
It just so happened in like Midlife Bro Logic got monetized the day after we did the show. And who was the other one? There was another one that did it too. I did the same thing. We also speed run the Powdered Dusty up to monetization in like, what was it, 3 weeks, I think.
You can clearly see, like, you can tell that happened. I was talking about that earlier. I was like, I don't even fucking know how I missed it, but somehow he done got booted off and then had another channel get started. And I was like, but a remarkable rebound.
Right.
Absolutely.
Almost
unheard of for the rebound there. Just want to toss that out there. That's pretty remarkable. Like I said, way to go, bro.
Admitting most of that was Flow State just doing the things you do, right?
Right.
99% of that was him just doing the work. But having somebody,
yeah, goddamn, what is that, like hashtag Team No Sleep? You have to go hard as a motherfucker to have that shit come back like that.
That's part of the reason why I'm part of the production squad over under, right? Because can dip out and just go crash a nap out if he needs to. He almost never does that.
Yeah. No, I know, because I pulled a 12-hour stream for him like a year ago when I first started interacting with him and did all that was insane. Because I was looking back through all of my videos yesterday to see how far back all that stuff went, and I was like, oh my God, that's a long time to sit and hold down a stream with people coming in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out the whole time. It's a long time. It's hard. It's not just for the faint of heart. That's for sure. No, I'm not. We're about that. I was going to say, I don't know, Spock. I bet the producer here can probably help with that. Someone's retired from YouTube, such as
There's a few people
that I know too. Really?
Well, Based Oracle retired for one. There's a few.
I could see that.
That don't.
He didn't seem like the type to really be out here on the YouTube that much, anyways.
Well,
didn't seem like
well, there's a couple of things, but I think he planned his exit, and I think he did it intentionally. I don't think this was thrust upon him, and let me tell you why. Homeboy shows up on one of my streams one night. South, I'm the most courteous individual you'll ever meet in public. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. The whole 9 yards.
Look, I mean, let's be real. If I was, a lot of the popular types of dudes nowadays, I would send my wife to Sasquatch to get fucked.
Oh, God, help me.
I'm not like that. I'm not an Adam 22 or Andrew, whatever. Yeah. Just click it.
Don't you dare take this down for the next 20 seconds. I'll be right back.
I feel like
like I said, I don't think he went involuntarily. I think he planned that exit. I'm sorry.
That's so goddamn. I mean, sorry, forgive me. That's so much. That is so fucking left field. Like, where? Why? Why was that? Where did that come from?
Let me reiterate.
No. I meant it very right. In terms of a lot of dudes are kind of cucks. Like they have a cuck mentality. So Sasquatch, a gentleman, right? If you were going to send your woman to somebody, why not Sasquatch?
I'd fuck the shit out of him too, though. So I'm just saying. And just toss that over there and leave it in the corner where it belongs, because that just. I need Jesus. Okay?
What's up, Lord? You do need Jesus. Who retired? I mean, I do know some people who have retired from YouTube. Most of them want nothing to do with it anymore.
I
Some
hope
of
he
them
comes back.
YouTube and they're off on Twitch or they're off on something else over there making money.
I'm so glad he lets you clip that too. That's awesome.
Oh,
That's awesome.
I've got 5 or 6 clips I've never shown anyone that are loaded up like a fucking 6-cylinder over here, like just ready to go. Been sitting there for months. I've got 5 or 6 different people who are regular guests on Flow States who have done basically the same thing. Oracle just and I ain't
again, I cannot. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna ask my friend. He comes in later. I'm like, what are your thoughts on this right here? Like, what is your thoughts and opinions on that? And how do you feel? Is that something that you too would recommend? Like, just want to know, just getting more dude intel out there.
I have, like I said, 5 or 6 different creator testimonials telling me that I'm the type of person they'd send their wife to.
That's what I'm gonna ask. What I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna get more intel from all of my dude friends.
In person, I know some people who have sent their wives to me. That's not, it doesn't even strike me as that unusual, except other people think it's super fucking weird. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's really, really weird, but I'm not a normal man either. So,
right. I'm not a normal person. I did not have a normal childhood, and in no way is my life ever going to be normal. So, like, this isn't that out of the realm of normal. This is this kind of stuff with you and having stuff like that get brought. That's normal. Me hearing shit like that, that's normal. Not off the wall shit. I just want to know where it comes from. Like, in the middle of a conversation, they're just like, "Oh, by the way, I would." Why? Like, where is the circumstance going to happen? The situation where this is necessary.
I don't know why I end up in these conversations that have these happen. And you'll hear me at the end of every single one of them. Hold on, I got to clip that shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't do it at force. There's no gun point. If they ask me not to, I'll clip it and just stick it away privately somewhere.
But there's got to be something where they're just sitting around watching one of these streams where obviously this gets brought up, or at some point in time,
I don't know.
That has come up as a thought in their mind where they're like, yeah, I totally seen my old lady over there. Totally. And I'm just sitting on, I'm just like, where did that fucking come from?
That came out of left field. I'm not gonna lie. That conversation that was going down there, we were talking about dating and like the differences between, like, when me and Uncle Fatty were young and we were dating versus the way it looks now from our perspective, because we really don't know what it's like in the trenches, because neither one of us are out there doing that shit. I wasn't. Apparently I am now. But anyway, so the perspective was what we were kind of shooting back and forth. I can't remember who else was on the panel. There was a couple of young dudes on the panel with us, and we were talking to them. And the conversation came up of, why is there a point where it's acceptable to basically for the sexual thing to die out in a relationship? And of course, Based Oracle's like, no, not at all. That either has to be sex in a relationship or it's not an actual relationship. Yada. I said that is not entirely true. I have broken my neck, my back, my pelvis, and my hip. Most of that in the same injury. So while I'm laying up in fucking traction over here, I'm not too concerned with what Wife Squatch is out doing, provided she's not leaving my ass, right? I'm strung out on morphine drips and goddamn Dilaudid 29 hours a fucking day. I have no idea what week it is over here. Why would I even ask what the fuck is going on? As long as that bitch ain't getting out on my ass forever, I'll be all right. I've tried my whole life to break pussy and ain't broke one yet.
Yeah, that's not why we're in the business of getting dick down. It's because we're trying to have one of y'all break it down. That's not. The babies do good
I
enough
kinda-
job as it is.
I get a different opinion from some of these chicks. They seem to be around to try to get their back broke. Like
That's the back. That's their back.
yes, ma'am.
I don't want to keep the vagina intact. You know what I mean? I mean, from what I gather, dudes would rather have that thing right up and good and tight than not, bust it wide open. Like, nah. Very, very, very graphic stuff. I'm gonna have to remind myself, like, Emma, don't recommend this one to your mom. Because sometimes I'll say some shit and she just goes, Emma, now you were not raised like that.
No, I wasn't, but I grew up after you raised me.
I'm like, I know, but
I
I
need
forget.
help you about this.
And then she's like, and especially those words, like you couldn't have said a different word. I'm like, no, Mom, right off the top of my head, no, I couldn't think of a different word, like besides the P word, which I don't usually use that much. But if I do, there's definitely with good reason. I can assure you that. Like if I drop that word, I'm definitely wanting to make sure that you have your fully undivided attention with whatever I'm saying in that respect. Because I think I don't like to use that word. Because I only use it in like two different contexts. Like
Hey,
it's either
sweetest.
insult or not.
I gotta go do the Sasquatch thing on another panel.
Oh yeah.
I just
All
got
right.
like summoned.
Summit. Okay, well, send me a link so I'll at least know where you're at, and I'll check in when I get out of the shower and see what's up.
I
See what
can
you're
send
doing.
you the live link, but I can't
Yeah.
send you the StreamYard link because it's a membership only link, and somebody bought me a membership. I don't even know who did it.
Okay, then that works.
Yeah.
That'll work. That's cool. Yeah, let me do that. Let me check that out whenever I get out.
Let me
Hey.
do that thing first.
Yeah, do that thing.
Yeah. Is this right? No, that's not right. That's a new one. So he got a new stream up, which means I got to go to his channel to find it. Which means I should have stayed there and went to his channel through that video. Bam. This one. Share, copy in the private chat. I hope it works out for you. Don't forget to turn shit off before you leave. Don't leave the light on.
All right. Thank you.
You got like 30. I just deleted a 36-day long stream from another StreamYard floating around over there. Not really. It just claimed it was live and deleted from YouTube, and so it was just sitting there open, waiting for things to happen. I was like, man, fuck that. Get out of here. You're just confusing me.
No shit. I'm glad you did that. I don't even know where the hell that's
But
from.
the live stream link is in the private chat. That's not the StreamYard link. It's just the YouTube. But he may drop a link in chat here directly. I don't know. He starts with the membership links.
Okay. I've got it copied.
Much love. Everybody out there in YouTube land, I'm going over to 5/5.
So that's where he's moving over to. So follow the Squatch that way.
If I was running this bug, I'd do a redirect, but it's not me and I can't do it. And I don't think you got 600 subscribers now, right? You can do it. You haven't set it up yet. We'll have to do that.
I don't have it set up like that yet, I don't think, but yeah.
Turn it on. You can't get redirected or send people from your redirect. So drop that thing. You know it might not happen immediately, but eventually Powder Dusty will raid your ass. You'll end up with like 700 motherfuckers sitting in your goddamn lobby.
Oh my God.
You'll get
That's probably why. Yeah, I'm not going to do that until you're around so I can have backup because, oh my God.
Oh, no.
A raid from him? Hell no.
Oh, come on. It'd be fucking hilarious. Just get it. Just jump and swim. Pull your panties up, jump in and swim. You got the chops. You've been working with me. If you got the goddamn chops, just burn them bitches down. Just be the savage. Surround yourself with savages and then rise to the occasion.
And I can be savage.
Congratulations.
I could be really savage. I got
What about-
peace.
Love.